Utsav, Odisha, a festival on culture and national integration which is a part of India's G20 presidentship. We are here gathered in the first session. This is a 2 day long festival event of being organized together in collaboration with Institute of Media Studies. We with Kal University are organizing it as part of this G20 initiative of India. We are here for the inaugural ceremony. The guests are with us. May I now request the guests to kindly come up on the dais. We have with us as a chief guest Sri Nikunja Bihari Dhala, Chief Electoral Officer and additional Chief Secretary to Government of Odisha as the chief guest. We have with us as the chairman of this session, Professor Dr. Savita Acharya Madam, the Vice Chancellor of Utkal University. We have with us Dr. S.K. Nanda, former senior bureaucrat, Government of Gujarat, as the person who will be delivering the keynote address. We have also as guests of honor the Registrar of Utkal University and Chairperson Postgraduate Council, Professor Dr. Durga Sankar Patnaik and Dr. Abhay Kumar Naik. Along with that, I also invite the Director of Institute of Media Studies, Professor Upendra Padhi. We request the honorable guests on the dais to kindly light the auspicious lamp. Requesting honorable guests on the dais to light the auspicious lamp. The lamp before the Lord of the Universe, Sri Jagannath Ji.
शङ्खमध्ये शतदळ कमले रत्नसिंहा
Thank you, sir. Thank you, madam. We shall play the state anthem, followed by the theme song of Utkal University. The state anthem, Bande Utkal Janani, which has been penned down by our poet, land poet, Lakshmikanta Mahapatra. And Bande Utkal Janani, after following Bande Utkal Janani, we shall be playing the theme song of Utkal University, Tunga Sikhari Chula, which has been penned by the then Education Minister and one of the founders of Utkal University, Pandit Godavarish Mishra, requesting all present in this auditorium to remain standing in their respective position as a mark of the respect to the anthem and the theme song. Bande Utkal Janani, Bande Utkal Janani, Charu Bhasamoy Janani.
जननी जननी हे उत्कल जननी भूतकयोधिविधौत शरीर भारतमाळ सुशोभित वीर सुब्रत विगुण शिखर समीर जननी 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 हे उत्कल जननी घन 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 भूमि राजित अंगे नीलभूधर माळ साजित रंगे कण कण मुखरित चारु विहंगे जननी 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 हे उत्कल जननी सुंदर मंदिर मंडित देश चारु कला बलि शोभित देश पुण्यतीर्थ जय पूर्ण प्रदेश जननी 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 हे उत्कल जननी हे उत्कल जननी हे उत्कल जननी तुंग शिखरी चूड़ कुंज कनन बल कुंज जल विजल खेली उठ सबरी आजी गगन सिरे भासी कनक निरी आस तपन उइए उत्कल भुवनी तुंग शिखरी चूड़ कुंज कनन बल कुंज जल विजल खेली उठ सबरी प्राची गगन सिरे भासी कनक निरी आस तपन उइए उत्कल भुवनी तुंग शिखरी चूड़ा सरग बिलवन शैल सिंधु सुषमा जनमिए देशे আজি हे जननी कोळे राजी धन्य कोटि नर नारी मरणर जीवनी प्राची गगन सिरे भासी कनकनी आसत कण भुवनी तुंग शिखरी चूड़ा তোহরি জননী থাও জগমভূমি কি দুঃখে ওরিয়ার পরাণে করি মোহন মূরতি সিহি প্রিয় বাচিতে কোটি সন্তান তোর প্রণমে চরণে प्राची गगन सिरे भासी कनक निरी आसत पौरउइए उत्कल भुवनी तुंग शिखरी कुंज कानन माळ पुण्य जलधि जल खेली उठ सबरी प्राची गगन सिरे भासी कनक निरी आसत पौरउइए उत्कल भुवनी तुंग शिखरी चूड़ा
Thank you, sir. Thank you, madam. Now I shall request the volunteers to present saplings and pin the badges to the guests on the dais. Sri Nikunja Bihari Khala, Professor Sabita Acharya, Dr. S.K. Nanda, Dr. Abhay Kumar Naik, Professor Durga Sankar Patnaik, Postgraduate Council. Thank you, dear volunteers. I shall request Professor Upendra Pari, Director of Institute of Media Studies, to deliver the welcome address and share the objectives of this program, that is Utsav Odisha.
Respected Chairperson of the inaugural ceremony of Utsav Odisha, Professor Savita Acharya, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Utkal University. Our esteemed chief guest, Sri Nikunja Bihari Dhara, Chief Electoral Officer and Additional Chief Secretary to Government of Odisha. Our guest of honor, Dr. Abhay Nayak, Honorable Registrar, Utkal University, and Dr. S.K. Durga Shankar Das, Durga Shankar Patnaik, sorry, Chairman PG Council, Utkal University, and Madam Mitani Chinara, Director Student Welfare, Utkal University, and friends and esteemed professors and department heads of Utkal University, students and media friends. I welcome you all to this 2 days Utsav Odisha. आज आम समस्त एक गौरवर दिन आम समस्ते भारतवासी आम समस्ते एक अमृत काल देखिए आम समस्ते जाऊे ये अमृत काल आम समस्त गर्व जे भारत वर्ष G20 अध्यक्षता दायित्व नहीं गोटे वर्ष आपण मैंने समस्ते जानते गत डिसेम्बर मासरे ये अध्यक्षता दायित्व भारत सरकार को अर्पण होती एवं यही जो अमृत काल आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव जो पालन होची ये गोटे अमृत संजोग आम समग्र भारतवासी ये जो G20 इंडिया प्रेसिडेंसी आम समस्त सामिल हवा आपण माने जानते 27-28 भारत सरकार पक्षर यार तृतीय शिखर बैठक यही भुवनेश्वर अनुष्ठित होती क्रम उत्कल विश्वविद्यालय जे सर्वोत्तर पुरातन विश्वविद्यालय आम राज्यर उत्कल विश्वविद्यालय आयोजन करुछि टू कमेमोरेट आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव आउ G20 इंडिया प्रेसिडेंसी की नेकी ये उत्सव ओडिशा एवं ये उत्सव ओडिशा को पुनः पुनः आपण समस्त को स्वागत करुछि एवं ये उत्सव ओडिशा 2 दिन धरि चलिबो जहां रहिछि G20 इंडिया प्रेसिडेंसी रो ऑब्जेक्टिव्स की नेकी से ऑब्जेक्टिव्स की नेकी आमे कार्यक्रम एठी स्थिर करछु प्रथम ये 2 दिन रे 5टी अधिवेशन हबो एवं विशेष करी आमे से अधिवेशन मानकर प्रथम अधिवेशन ए इनागुरल सेशन पर हबो जोतिर अछि यूनिटी इन डाइवर्सिटी रोल ऑफ ओडिशा इन नेशनल इंटीग्रेशन ता पर अछि रिविजिटिंग हिस्ट्री आवर रूट्स एंड अनसंग हीरोज ऑफ ओडिशा आउ तृतीय संपादन हमर रहिछि इंडिया जे G20 प्रेसिडेंसी एंड द वर्ल्ड जहां रहिछि तार अभिमुख्य वसुधैव कुटुंबकम द one family and one future जो आमर पूर्वज बहु मनीषी एवं महापुरुष माने वसुधैव कुटुंबकर थियोरी रे जो माने विश्वास करथिले एवं तार उद्गाता मध्ये एही उत्कल भूखंड रे थिले सेही संपर्क रे मध्ये आमे आलोचना करबा ए उत्सव उत्सव जेतोले आमे पालन करछे एवं उत्कल जे आजिर जे ओडिशा ये जातीय स्रोतरु कोउथरे कम नाही एवं समकक्ष भाव रे जहां जातीय स्रोतर आभिमुख्य रही सब बेले केमिति आमर उत्कल भूखंड तार अग्रदूत साजिछि से होछि उत्सव ओडिशार आभिमुख्य रही से संपर्क आलोचना तापरे रही जे न्यू इंडिया द कॉलोनियल माइंडसेट आज जो कथा कहा जाउछि G20 रे जे कॉलोनियल माइंडसेट रो ऊर्ध्व को जाईकि आमे केमिति गुटे नुवा भारत वर्षर परिकल्पना करबा से संपर्क रे मध्ये उत्सव ओडिशार आयोजन करा जायछि एवं आलोचना रखा जायछि विशेष करी जो कथा कहा जायछि यूनिवर्सिटी कनेक्ट्स एंड यूथ कनेक्ट्स से अभिमुख्य को रखी आमे गुटे अधिवेशन रखिछु जोथिरे द भारत यूथ डायलॉग विद द चेंज ए जो एथिरे रहिछि या पूर्व 2 दिन धरि कि उत्कल विश्वविद्यालय पक्षरु विभिन्न प्रतियोगिता होता ओडिया एवं इंग्राजी रे डिबेट प्रतियोगिता होती रंगोली प्रतियोगिता होती एवं देशभक्ति गीतर प्रतियोगिता आमर विश्वविद्यालय पक्षर करा बहु संख्यार छात्र छात्री माने अंशग्रहण करछंती एवं सा भितर जो माने प्रथम द्वितीय वक्तृता प्रतियोगिता से माने यूथ डायलॉग रे अंशग्रहण करेंगे एवं से आभिमुख्य रखिए आम समस्त पाखे ये हूँ 5 दिन कार्यक्रम एवं आज संध्यार जो G20 इंडिया प्रेसिडेंसी आभिमुख्य को लेकिन सांस्कृतिक कार्यक्रम रही जो उत्कल माटी जो संस्कृति जो रही कला तार नैपुण्य आज कलाकार माने करेंगे एवं से विश्वविद्यालय छात्र छात्री देशभक्ति संगीत परिवेषण करेंगे एवं ये कार्यक्रम को पुनर्बार आपण समस्त को स्वागत करने सहित आज ये 2 दिन कार्यक्रम सफलता आपण समस्त पक्ष कामना करुच्ची विशेष भाव में धन्यवाद देवी आमर जे या लिविंग स्पिरिट ओडिशा पछरे रही आम समस्त परम आदरणीय सम्मान्य आमर कुलपति मैडम प्रोफेसर सविता आचार्य मैडम ठीक सब कथा बुझुचंती प्रति स्तर रे केमती लिखण भाव में आम सफल भाव में उद्यापन कर उत्कल विश्वविद्यालय भारत वर्षर कौन विश्वविद्यालय पछर रहिबो नै ये जातीय कार्यक्रम को तार कार्य करने से आपण तरफ समस्त तरफ बारंबार मैडम को मोर अंतर धन्यवाद एवं कृतज्ञता जनाऊँ आज सफल कार्यक्रम धन्यवाद वंदे उत्कल जननी जय हिंद।
Thank you very much. I take this opportunity now to introduce a guest on the dais to my audience. Today, as the chief guest, we have Sri Nikunja Bihari Dhara, and as I have already informed, he is the Chief Electoral Officer and Additional Chief Secretary to the Government of Odisha. Sri Dhara belongs to the 1993 batch of Indian Administrative Service. Basically, he has a degree in mechanical engineering from the National Institute of Technology, Rourkela. He has adorned several positions of responsibilities and given several important assignments which he has discharged with utmost sincerity and with utmost dedication and efficiency. And one of the noteworthy among them is that Siddhartha was the Principal Secretary Health during the COVID-19 pandemic times, and he took care of the healthcare system to the in a best possible manner. Thank you very much, sir, for your presence in this occasion and for agreeing to come over here to inaugurate the Utsav Odisha as the chief guest. Thank you very much. The chairman of this session is none other than the head of our family, the Vice Chancellor of Utkal University, Professor Savita Acharya ma'am. Professor Savita Acharya joined Utkal University in November 2020 as the first woman Vice Chancellor. She is an eminent anthropologist with more than 30 years of teaching as well as research experience. Professor Acharya has been a Commonwealth Postdoctoral Fellow, under which she did her research at the prestigious University of Oxford. And her area of research there was gender and development with special reference to tribal women and of Odisha. Her area of research concentrates around social anthropology. Professor Acharya has proven her administrative prowess in several positions in Utkal University. She has been the chairman postgraduate council. She has been the director of College Development Council, the director of School of Women's Studies, as well as she has discharged her responsibilities as the head of the Department of Anthropology. When she came back to her alma mater to take over its reins, it was not a terrain of which she was unknown about. She knows the nooks and corners of Utkal University. And under her able guidance, 14 scholars have received their PhD degrees. She was conferred recently with the Times Power Women Award by the Times Group. I express my gratitude and thank you, Madam, for all your guidance and leadership to make Utsav Odisha successful. I move over now to Dr. Sri S.K. Nanda, a very senior bureaucrat. He has held several distinguished positions in government of Gujarat during his career. Dr. Nanda has successfully handled key government departments like health, tourism, information and broadcasting, finance, forest and environment, to note a few. He has a rich experience in the field of management and administration. He has contributed several papers and authored several books in different fields. Dr. Nanda has bagged many awards, including a commendation from the Prime Minister's office for his work in the health sector post the 2002 riots in Gujarat. Post his retirement, Dr. Nanda has been active in the different social sector organizations. We also welcome you, sir, for your presence in this Utsav Odisha today. Our guest of honor, the chairman of Postgraduate Council, Professor Durga Sankar Patnaik. Professor Patnaik is a brilliant student, a brilliant academician. He earned an MSc and MTech in Applied Geology from Indian Institute of Technology, that is at Kharagpur, and subsequently he went on to do a PhD in that subject, geology. He bagged the first position in the BSc examination of Utkal University and received the gold medal as the best science graduate. He was selected for the Indian Forest Service and for the Indian Audits and Account Service twice, but he gave in to his call and decided to become a teacher and joined government colleges as a lecturer in the year 1989. Subsequently, Professor Patnaik moved on to Utkal University as a reader in the year 2004. Currently, he adorns the chair of Chairman Postgraduate Council. I thank him and offer my heartfelt gratitude for his presence here. Another guest of honor is Dr. Abhay Kumar Naik. He is the registrar of Utkal University. He joined his alma mater, that is Utkal University, in the year September 2020. And prior to that, he was the additional Chief Electoral Officer, Government of Odisha. He needs no introduction to the students of Utkal University. Dr. Naik is instrumental in running the university in a very efficient manner, and you find his footprints everywhere in every nook and corner of the university. He has shown exemplary problem solving attitude and managerial prowess in his role as a registrar of Utkal University. Thank you, sir, for all your support and cooperation. I also take this opportunity to welcome Professor Upendra Madhi, the man behind this Utsav Odisha. He is Director of Institute of Media Studies. He holds a master's in sociology from Utkal University and in journalism and mass communication from IIMC New Delhi. Welcome, sir, for all your efforts and all your cooperation. Thank you. These are our guests on the dais. And now I shall request the volunteers to kindly present the commemorative volume, Utkal, the Land of Excellence, for the guests to inaugurate. A commemorative volume has been prepared, which is a compendium of several writings on Utkal, the glory of the land and the achievements. And we have named it as Utkal, the Land of Excellence, to be released by the guests on the dais. Thank you, sir. We move on to the next. I invite Dr. S.K. Nanda, former Additional Chief Secretary to Government of Gujarat to deliver the keynote address. Dr. S.K. Nandan, please.
It's a lovely occasion today in the ramparts of this university to be with students, teacher, academicians of Utkal University and our deemed esteemed friends, guests on the dais, our younger colleague Sri Nikunj Gaurav, Madam Sabita ji, Sri Patnaik, Sri Naik, and Sri Upendra Babu, for whom and through whom everything is being organized, spick and span. In fact, it's a very big opportunity for me today, being a son of the soil from the temple city of Jagannath, and to join this chorus for getting our culture not only at the topmost gear but also as was the hallmark of the Southeast Asia. In fact, today I have been told by Upendra Babu that I should not speak for more than 10 minutes because I've got a habit of talking more. Though I have not been in Utkal University, I have been always in the Delhi University. But I always had friends who are topmost brilliant minds from this university who are my friends there, with whom I had been also lecturer there also for a few times, for a few years before I joined the service. Now coming to these revisiting Odisha, I have already written something here in this documentation which is being released today, but not to repeat all those things, historical data which everyone knows, professors they talk, the students they write. I just wanted to give you 5, 6 or 7 areas where Odisha has to be revisited and seen. See, we all know that it was the Gupta era which got the golden coins. Means golden coin as an exchange of money, trade, commerce was started by the Gupta era after Maurya dynasty. But if you revisit the history of Odisha, it was the Puri Kushan coins which preceded the Gupta coins. They were gold and they were in different bronze color. But it is not being told to people. They are the first coin exchange for trade and commerce in this area of India. Similarly, when we talk of inland traffic, inland trade, commerce, and external trade and commerce, people very rarely know that it was the Kalinga state before the Common Era and after the Common Era. Means after Ashoka's departure from Odisha and the beginning of the Common Era till 900 AD or 1100 AD, Kalinga was the most prominent state of India. The Bay of Bengal was called the Kalinga Sagar. There is no Bay of Bengal. It was called the Kalinga Sagar. And all the merchant vessels carrying goods of rice and other commodities from these Midnapur, Barakpur, Odisha, they used to travel from the eastern coast to ports of Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, Malaysia, China. So it was a very active route for trading, business and commerce. And not only that, the merchant vessels also carried the religious fervor of Buddhist monks and Chinese monks. I will not be wrong if I say if China became Buddhist, probably it became Buddhist through the influence of Kalinga, which sends thousands of people, monks and priests, both to China in the garb of merchant vessels. I will not be wrong to say that all the trading that was taking place in India was majorly taking place in this part of the world, in this India, Kalinga, because of 9 or 10 ports which are situated between south of Calcutta to Visakhapatnam. And those ports were the ports for exit and entry of trade and commerce and religious and every kind of item, even from the Roman capitals. Even Rome had also contacts with Kalinga. My point of request to Mr. Savita is this: we should not stop today here. How the thousands of migrants from Odisha or Kalinga started going to Java, the Sri Lankan king, president, whosoever now is the Sri Lankan regime, was probably because of the Kalinga daughter marrying the Sri Lanka king that time. And if you remember the king name called Nisanka, Nisanka was one of the biggest kings, longest kings who had Kalinga origin. Similarly, all the temples and architecture of Java, Sumatra, Laos, and the names which we call in Odisha Bagonacho, Godanacho, all these things is not only peculiar to Odisha. You find in the streets of Bali, Bagonacho and Godanacho. I had the fortune of serving Odisha between 1990 to 1992 when Mr. Biju Patnaik was the CM. I was Director Tourism and Culture. We started that this Dolphin Center that time, and the Bali expedition, Bali Jatra, was an idea, grand idea of Viju Babu, and he had sent a delegation where I had gone. And the immense popularity of the CM of this place, the then CM, and the contribution of Kalinga to Indonesia and Java, Sumatra, were all recited in those days of our visit with our officers, both from the state cadre as well as from the tourism cadre. And we were aghast in knowing that really Kalinga had a lot of pride to take in the state of Indonesia. We never knew about that. So my request to the Vice Chancellor, who has started this entire process of rediscovering Odisha, is to see how we have been able to influence Laos, Vietnam, Cambodia, Indonesia, Malaysia, Burma in those days, and how the streets. In fact, I was told that in Burma, Shikhetra in Burma, Kokanagaya in Malaysia, Sri Vijay in Sumatra, Purva Kalinga in Java, and Tonking in Cambodia. These cities, towns, completely are replicas of the Kalinga culture. If this is true, then we must have delegations from there and our students and teachers from here to rewrite the history, to say that Kalinga contributed to these states in matrimonial marriages, in terms of trading activities to see that they boost their economy, in terms of architecture and sculpture of the temples, which they have still borrowed from the Bhubaneswar temples and also from the Lalitgiri and Udaygiri, Lalitgiri Buddhist temples and Udaygiri and Kandagiri. All these inscriptions and coins and the travel writings of Vahan and Himsan, who wrote in the around 740 AD, they all testify to the fact that Kalinga was a major force that time. The another point which I wanted to mention, which makes you proud for being a Kalingan or an Odisha fellow. What makes you proud? Proud of the we are the people who always resisted any oppression and any expansionism. Whether it was the Marathas, whether it was Ashoka, whether it was the Afghans, whether it was the Mughal, whether it was the British. throughout the history, if you see, Odisha has always repelled all attacks. And one of the reasons why Odisha did very well in art, architectural sculpture, and literature was the fact that the feudal kings, Garjatias, which we call 29 or 26 of them, they were never pulled down by any king or any princely state, and everyone was allowed to continue his sphere of activity in art, culture, and that is how the Gotipur school in Puri, the Sambalpuri textiles in Sambalpur, and the various town styles of architecture which prevailed in different temples, they could come up. All this can come up in peace times. When there is a war, there can be no kind of cultural revolution. Now, coming to the cultural revival thing, in fact, it was Odisha which gave the leadership to the Bhakti movement in the mid 10th, 11th, 12th century. The Bhakti saints were from Odisha. And Odisha was a fusion of Vedic and the tribal culture. And because it was a Vedic or the tribal culture, therefore Jagannath became the apostle of all our religion. The tribals and the Vedic Hindus, they all merged, converged in a deity called Jagannath. And in fact, in Indonesia, people call Shiva and Buddha as brothers and any god as Jagannath. If you go to Bali, you say, where is the god? They will say Jagannath. And when you ask who is Shiva and who is Buddha, they will say they are brothers. So this is an influence, wrong or right, which has imparted from our side, and probably they have written it. Now coming to the point of Odisha's contribution in terms of unification. You must have heard as student of history that Bismarck of Germany and Garibaldi of Italy, in those days of Western times, they were the people who unified Germany and Italy. In Odisha, much before Sardar Patel came, it was Navakrishna Chaudhary and his group of 6 people who made all the Garjatias kings to unify, and the last one who joined was the 29th state to see that the princely states become all unified to be resistant to the Britishers. To that extent, they were taking a different stand from Mahatma Gandhi, who did not want to interfere in the princely states. But it was Ramakrishna Chaudhary and his group who took a stand that nothing doing. The princely states and these people have to be unified together to see that Odisha is one and they have to be a solid entity. So the unification concept was born much before in the minds of the Odisha fighters. Similarly, I wanted to say that when it came to the nationalism, it was Odisha which took up the stand that language is a platform for unifying. You know, Odisha was divided into 3 areas. Coastal area was different with Mughals. Western was with the CP, that is Sundargarh, etc., etc. And the south was with the Madras presidency. All these three presidencies got unified gradually on the criteria of Odia speaking diverse communities staying separate. And there was a British secretary to the government of India, Lindsay, which said that if at all you want welfare of these people and they want to be diverse, they are diversely situated, but language they are connected, they have to be together. And that led this, to all our freedom fighters who started agitating on including Gangadhar Meher and people from Western and Eastern India, all the 5 people from Sakyupal, all united to see that language was made the criteria for the and the Parlakamandi Maharaja when he went to the London for the Roundtable Conference in 1930, he made it a point to see that they have to be together. A state, all these parts, different parts, Maratha controlled, British controlled, Mughal controlled, they have to be together into one state. And that is how we got the first state before independence in 1936. And that is because of the efforts of our people who so stood like a rock. They talked of unification, they talked of regionalism, they talked of language, they talked of national unity, they wanted unity against the oppressors. So this is a point of rediscovery. The other point of rediscovery is trade and commerce with India, within India and outside India. And also when it comes to our heroes, we all talk of Jallianwala Bagh. That is immediately in our mind. But there is another incident which happened in Odisha, uh, in Navarampur. And that incident was the Papad Handi incident, which was on Turi River in Navarampur. Hundreds died, thousands were jailed, but it is not good at all. That has to be highlighted by our historians and our teachers. Whether it's a Lakshman Naik, whether it is the Baji Raut, they are forgotten. In fact, Ravensa College has to take pride in the fact that during this agitation, Ravensa College was a beautiful campus, was a storming campus for the freedom struggle, where the girls also joined and they also faced jail, and also they were sentenced to imprisonment for a few months. I wanted to mention here that it was in the, there is a man called Bagha Jatin who is from Bengal, who used to supply gunpowder, and he came to Mayurbhanj and he made life horrible for the Britishers. And it was with the help of these people in Mayurbhanj and also the sporadic spots of protest in Denkanal, in Nayagad, Nilgiri, Talche, Mathili of Malkangiri, and Iram in Balasore. These are the places where people died in thousands. But no one mentions about it. So when we revisit Odisha, we have to also see how many lives were lost, who laid for what, but they are all discarded. They are pigeonholed, they are frozen in the memory of historians. So therefore, they have to be brought up. They have to be revisited. As Odisha people, we should know that yes, we have got the glory of something like the Paparghata, in these where people died like Jallianwala Bagh. Also these heroes and these different places. Our great discoveries in the field of trade and commerce, art and sculpture, and also the fact that our leaders talked of national unionism, unity and unification, nationalism, and we have to also see to it that major revivals, whether it is a Sanskrit revival, Pali revival, Buddhism and Jain revival, Bhakti movement, or conversion from Devdasi to Gotipu to Orisi times, they were all done with our great leaders from the soil of son of the soil. And we merge with the tribal traditions to make all together one before everyone is common before Jagannath. So this message, as Odisha people, I think makes our heads high. No state has got such beautiful tales to say, but they are all scattered. We have to stem it together, bring up together, bring paragraphs on that, write to those countries, send delegations to these countries, let them celebrate like we are celebrating G20. Let them celebrate Kalinga 20 or Kalinga 2025 in Cambodia, in Indonesia. It's a right point when Kalinga should do it. And University of Utkal can take the leading role because academic to academic there is no prohibition, there is no permission. And we should go ahead in this thing. And therefore, the government will join the bandwagon later on. But we should take the first kadam. And I feel very happy in the fact that all these facts we know as son of the soil. And none can other than the son of the soil will take it up. Remember, because we have worked here, we have born here, and we have worked outside also Odisha. Therefore, we find the difference that Odisha makes when we are outside Odisha, and when it's in Odisha, we must make you people confident and morally strong to feel that we are one of the super communities of India who deserve a place much more than what we have been given. Jai Jagannath.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Today, in fact, is a very auspicious day. Today is the birthday of who we call the Kulabrudha, Utkala Gaurava, Madhusudan Das, who took a leading role in creation of Odisha as a first state created on the basis of language. So, Utkal University pays an humble homage to that great leader of Odisha. I now invite the guest of honor, Professor Durga Sankar Patnaik, to give his address. Professor Durga Sankar Patnaik, please.
मंचासीन समस्त अतिथिवृंद एवं मोर आदर सहकर्मी निमंत्रित अतिथिवृंद एवं आदर छात्र छात्री माने समय स्वल्पता दृष्टि विशेष परिचय प्रदान करें आज जो उत्सव आम ओडिशार होची मु खाली एति कहूची जे आमर उत्कलीय संस्कृति सारा जगत रे अनन्य उत्कल संस्कृति होची सेवा और त्यागर संस्कृति एई उत्कलर आमर राजा इंद्रद्युम्न से जेतेबेले जगन्नाथ मंदिर निर्माण कर सारी प्रभु को वर मांगिले प्रभु वर दिंतु मते जे मो वंश कहीं न रहतु जे गर्व करेंगे ये मंदिर मो बापा की गढ़ी से भाया त्याग आउ कौन चार मिले कि से भाई ये माटीर कवि संत कवि भीम भाई जहाँ लिखि जाइछन्ति प्राणी का दुख प्रमित देखु देखु के सहु मो जीवन पछे नटके पड़ी थाउ जगत उद्धार हो जाति संघरे ये बाणी स्थान पाई ये भाया बोधे आउ को माटीर कवि लिखि नथिबे सेही भली आमर पंडित उत्कलमणि गोपबंधु दास जो मिसुमर दे देश माटी देशवासी चली जातु पीठे ये सब जो सेवा और त्यागर निदर्शन ये हूँ उत्कल संस्कृति को उद्बुद्ध करची उत्कल संस्कृति ये महान जे आमे सब करिछु किंतु केबे गर्व करिनु जे आमे करिछु हमर ये किछि दिन पूर्वे जो हमर पूर्वतन मुख्यमंत्री नवकृष्ण चौधरी प्रतिमूर्ति नहीं एक आलोड़न सुखा सी जमीदार परिवार लोक किंतु मुख्यमंत्री ठाई से निजपाई किसी करनथिले साइकल जीवासा करथिले निजर सबु जमी भूदान आंदोलन सब दान करथिले तापरे पत्नी मालती सहित चाल घरे अनुकूल बाजीराउत हस्टेल रोते तो से भाया त्यागर निदर्शन आज कहीं से भरी मु कहूची जे ओडिशा माटी होची बहुत समृद्ध ये ओडिशा रे जो आमर वरेण्य संतान मान जन्म ग्रहण करछन्ती से मानकर जो त्याग आदर्श पराकाष्ठा देखी ଯଦି ଆଜିର ଯୁବପିଢ଼ି ସେଥିରୁ କିଛି ପରିମାଣରେ ଶିଖି ତାକୁ କାର୍ଯ୍ୟରେ ଲଗାନ୍ତେ ତାହେଲେ ଆମ ଓଡ଼ିଶା ସାରା ଭାରତ କାହିଁକି ସାରା ଜଗତକୁ ଆଲୋକ ଦେଖେଇ ପାରିବ। ଆଗରୁ ମଧ୍ୟ ସାରା ଓଡ଼ିଶା ଆମର ଚଣ୍ଡାଶଙ୍କୁ ବୁଦ୍ଧତ୍ୱ ପ୍ରଦାନ ଧର୍ମାଶକରେ ପରିଣତ କରିଥିଲା। ତେଣୁ ଓଡ଼ିଶା ମାଟି ଯୁଗେ ଯୁଗେ ଯେଉଁ ସଂସ୍କୃତିର ଯେଉଁ ତାର ଉଦ୍ବେଗ ରଖିଛି ଆଜିର ଯୁବ ସମାଜ ସେଥିରେ ଉଦ୍ବୁଦ୍ଧ ବୋଲି ମୋର ଆଶା କରେ। ଆଜି ଯେଉଁ ଉତ୍କଳ ଗୌରବ ମଧୁସୂଦନ ଦାସଙ୍କ ଜୟନ୍ତୀ ତାଙ୍କର କିଛି ପଦ ମୁଁ ଉଦ୍ଧାର କରି ମୋର ଭାଷଣ ସମାପ୍ତ କରିବି ମୋ ସମୟର ସ୍ୱଳ୍ପତା ଦୃଷ୍ଟିରୁ ଯେ ଉଠରେ ଉଠରେ ଉତ୍କଳ ସନ୍ତାନ ଉଠି ଉଠୁ କେତେ ଦିନେ ପୂର୍ବ ଗୌରବ ପୂର୍ବ ମହିମା ପଢ଼େ ତୋର ମନେ। ସୋ ମୁଁ ତେଣୁ ଆଜିର ଯୁବ ସମାଜକୁ ମୁଁ ନିବେଦନ କରୁଛି ଯେ ସ୍ୱାର୍ଥ ପଛରେ ନିଜ ସ୍ୱାର୍ଥ ପଛରେ ନଧାଇଁ ଧନ ପଛରେ ନ ଡାଇଁ ନିଜେ ये जो सेवा त्याग एवं निरंकारता यही भाया जो आमर निदर्शन रही ताकू से माने कार्य लगातु ताफल आज तुम्हें मैंने सब युव समाज से जो तरुण सूर्य माने तुम्हें मैंने जदि ये भाया महान व्यक्तिंकर कार्यधारा को तांकर बाणी को किछि काम रे लगेइब ताहले आम उत्कल सारा जगत को आलोक देखेब सारा जगत को आम उत्कल बुद्धत्व प्रदान करिछि। तेणु सारा जगत मध्य ये उत्कल ज्ञान लोक उद्भासित हे यह मोर आशा विश्वास। मते किछि कहया सुযোগ देइथारो मु संगठकों को धन्यवाद अर्पण करछि। जय जगन्नाथ, वंदे उत्कल जननी।
Thank you, sir. We hope that Utkal becomes a beacon of light to the entire humanity in the coming days. May I invite the other guest of honor, Dr. Abhay Kumar Naik, the Registrar of Utkal University. Dr. Abhay Kumar Naik, sir. Please.
Jai Jagannath, the chairperson of this auspicious occasion, Madam Professor Savita Acharya, the first woman Vice Chancellor of this prestigious university, the chief guest at this auspicious occasion, Sri Tikunja Bihari Dhala, Additional Chief Secretary to Government of Odisha and Chief Electoral Officer, former Additional Chief Secretary to Government of Gujarat, Dr. S.K. Nanda, PG Council Chairman Dr. D.S. Patnaik, Institute of Media Study Director Professor Upendra Prasad Padhi, Madam Mitali Chinara, Professor Economics, एवं मोर सम्मुखें बंदी बसथिबा मोर समस्त भाई भौणी माने, all my faculty members, it is a great opportunity for me that the G20 presidency has been given to the India, and this has been possible for all of us to conduct such a meeting in this university campus because India is a federal state and ours is the largest democracy in the world. When we read We the People of India, in the preamble of our constitution, we people of India having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign socialist secular democratic republic and to secure all its citizens justice, social, economic and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, equality of status and opportunity and to promote among them all, and the liberty of and fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity of the country. In our Constituent Assembly, on this 26th day of November, we do hereby adopt, enact and give so outside this Constitution. ମୁଁ ଏଇଟା ଏଇଥିପାଇଁ କହିଲି କିଛି ଦିନ ତଳେ when I discovered the handwritten book of our constitution in the Parija library. This is a big experience in me that केबे भी आम भितर जो मैंने अच्छे केबे हैंड रिटेन बुक ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया देखि नथिबे मु खोली खोली जालिली एवं देखिली इन द कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली रे जे हमर ओडिया लोक केते थिले बहुत सिग्नेचर रु जानली बहुत ओडिया लोक थिले कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली जेतले फ्रेम हेतिला and that was drafted and moved in the constituent assembly by first prime minister of India Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru मु सेठी देखिली जड़े लोक ओडिया रे दस्तखत करचंती ताका ना होची लक्ष्मी नारायण साहू इज ए ग्रेट फ्रीडम फाइटर थिले एवं अन्य बहुत लोक दस्तखत करचंती किंतु ओडिया रे केही लेखि नथिले एवं से केवल ओडिया रे लेखिथिले ओडिया रे लेखिबा एवं ओडिशा रो जो स्वाभिमान अछि ताको बंचै रखिबा जोटा किछि समय पूर्व प्रोफेसर दुर्गाशंकर पटनायक कहउथिले आज हो उत्कल गौरव मधुसूदन कर जन्मदिन जो से कहते जाति नंदी दिवस चलो कि भाई स्वार्थ को सारथी कले टाणे किरे गाड़ी दानार दोगड़ा घोड़ा मुहे बंद थे आम जदि आज दिन में स्वार्थ को जलांजलि दे आम आम भीतर जो सेल्फिशनेस अच्छी इफ यू कैन थ्रो दैट टू द बे ऑफ बेंगल डेफिनेटली आम गोटे निश्चित भाव में गोटे उच्च एवं स्वाभिमानी ओडिशा गठन करि परिबा. Some days back, Professor Dr. S.K. Nandu was telling about Bali and Indonesia. Some days back, I had the opportunity to go to Bali to sign an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding with Utkal University. गोटे छोट सेमिनार सेठी आयोजन करा हैतिला एवं से सेमिनार रे when they came to know that we are from Odisha, they said the greatest contribution of India, particularly from Odisha, is how they taught us the art of agriculture in Bali. That is a great achievement. They said जदि ओडिया लोक एठी आसी न थांते हमर आमे एठी एग्रीकल्चर सिखि पारि न थांतु तेनो जदि आमे एठी एग्रीकल्चर सिखि that art has been taught by this Odians. आज हमर बहुत अनसंग हीरोज अछंती से बाजी राउत होंतु संत कवि भीम भोई होंतु हमर जय राजगुरु होंतु मधुसूदन होंतु बा हमर गोपबंधु दास होंतु केते सेमानकर जो कंट्रीब्यूशन टू द फ्रीडम स्ट्रगल आमे केबे भी भूली परिबा नाही. ओडिशा इज रिच इन एवरीथिंग. आमे जेते बेले बाहर को जीवा देखिबा जो बहुत लोक अछंती जो माने बाहरे बहुत उच्च पदवी रे अछंती एवं मैक्सिमम दे आर फ्रॉम ओडिशा एंड बेसिकली आपण जदि पचारबे देहतु दिस इज ए प्रीमियर यूनिवर्सिटी एवं सेते बेले द ओल्डेस्ट यूनिवर्सिटी एवं सेते बेले गोटे यूनिवर्सिटी थिला एवं मैक्सिमम इफ यू आस्क देम दे आर फ्रॉम उत्कल यूनिवर्सिटी. सो सेति भाई हमर गर्व निश्चित भाव रे हम यूनिवर्सिटी नै गर्व करछंती. किछि समय पूर्वरु कहउतले उत्कल यूनिवर्सिटी मैडम वाइस चांसलर आसिला परे आमे मु भाबुची हमर डेवलपमेंट रे चरम सीमा रे पहुंचु आ बोधे डेवलपमेंट रे किछि यूनिवर्सिटी रे आवश्यकता पड़िबो नाही एक्सेप्ट इन फ्यू सेक्टर्स. निश्चित भाव रे हम समस्त पई आज को गर्व दिन ए प्रकार जो कार्यक्रम होईची G20 एवं ओडिशा उत्सव आमे पालन करछंती. हमर महामनीषी माने जोटा करिसंती कहि दी जे जदी आमे खाली खाली ताको पढी दबा एवं पढी के भूली जिबा सेतरे किछि हबो नाही. तेणु हम ताको जदी कार्यकारी करिबा हमर जोटा मोर गोटे बेन किंग्सली बत कहिदिले the lives of great men all remind us we can make our lives of lime departing leave behind us footprints on the sands of time. आमे जो बड़ महामनीषी माने आम पई जो फुटप्रिंट्स रखे देही चाहिचंदी आमे देखो ठीक भाव रे जदि अनुसरण करिबा निश्चित भाव रे आमे ए आम निजको ऊपर को उठेबा सहित ए समाज को मध्ये एक नवा दिग्दर्शन दै परिबा. आज जेहेतु समय हेइची आज ए उत्सव 2 दिन धरि चलिबो एवं जो एफर्ट देइचंती उपेंद्र प्रसाद पाड़ी हमर डायरेक्टर आईएमएस ताको मु धन्यवाद दोची एवं मु जानि राति दिन लागे कि एते कम समय भितरे he has come out with a very good souvenir जोटा देखि कि मु होतली जे एते जिंस हाउ कुड दे कलेक्ट इन such a specific short period of time. तेणु ए समस्तकर सहयोग रे कार्यक्रम 2 दिन धरि शुरू करे चलो मैं एति कामना करछि. धन्यवाद.
Thank you very much, sir. May I now take this opportunity to invite the chairperson of this inaugural session, Professor Sabita Acharya ma'am, the Vice Chancellor of Utkal University, to deliver her address. Professor Sabita Acharya ma'am, please.
esteemed members on the dais, Sri Nikunja Bihari Dhal, Chief Speaker, Sri Dr. S.K. Nanda, Chairman Postgraduate Council, Professor Patnaik, Registrar Dr. Naik, and Professor Upendra Padhi, Professor Mitali, and all my dear colleague friends, student friends, research scholar, ladies and gentlemen, all media persons. Today is an auspicious day for all of us because, as spoken by many speakers, that we are celebrating 176th birth anniversary of Utkal Gaurav Madhusudan Das, and all of you know about his contribution towards the formation of Odisha state in the year 1936. And you know, after just 7 years, in 1943, Utkal University was established after the formation of Odisha as a separate state. And Utkal University is the oldest university, more the premier university and the mother university of Odisha. And we are celebrating Utsav Odisha in collaboration with the Institute of Media Studies, which is also one of the affiliated institutes of our university. And I must congratulate the Department of Institute of Management Media Studies and Professor Paddy from the very beginning. With all his effort, this function could be possible for us to celebrate because we have shifted the date many times due to the NAC peer team visit to Utkal University. In spite of all odds, all constraints, today it was possible only because of Professor Paddy. And our colleagues, they cooperated like anything, just like a ready-made committees were there who were engaged in NAC peer team visit. They were again engaged in this celebration of Utsav Odisha. So I must congratulate all my faculty friends, students for cooperating us to celebrate this Utsav Odisha for 2 days. And all of you know, Azadi Ki Amrit Mahotsav, it is an initiative of the Government of India to celebrate and commemorate 75 years of independence and the glorious history of its people, culture, and achievements. And Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav commenced on 12th March 2021, which was started a 75-week countdown to our 75th anniversary of independence and will end a post year on 15th August 2023. So this Utsav Odisha, it is dedicated to the people of India who have not only been instrumental in bringing India in its evolutionary journey, but also it holds within them the power and potential to enable the vision of activating India 2.0, fueled by the spirit of Atmanirbhar Bharat. And all of you must be knowing that in IIMT, this G20 presidency celebration is going on for last 1 week. And India assumed this G20 presidency from 1st December of 2022 from Indonesia and convened G20 Leaders Summit for the first time in the country in 2023. So a nation deeply committed to democracy and multilateralism And India's G20 presidents would be a watershed moment in her history as it seeks to play an important role by finding global solutions for the well-being of all the people. And you know, it is in the true spirit of Vasudeva Kutumbakam, the world is one family. And you know, from Azadi Ki Amrut Mahotsav to G20 meetings 2022, it was a year when government used India's soft power, a non-stop cultural calendar of events. And as Dr. Nanda suggested about the revival of the linkages with the South Asian countries, and our register has also mentioned that we have one memorandum of understanding with the university, one of the universities of Bali recently with Utkal University for the collaborative research program, exchange and cultural exchange programs. And we are on the process for the revival of these linkages with Indonesia, Bali. And we had the cultural relationship, religious relationship, trading relationships with many of the Southeast Asian countries, as you said, Indonesia, then Cambodia, and all other Malaysia, Singapore, all other countries who are the neighboring countries of India. And we had that trading relationship with them. And for the revival of all these relationships, we can revive the academic, as he said, that how to do the agriculture. It was learned from Odisha, from Utkal, by the Indonesian people. So we are trying our level best to rebrush the memory and to recreate the linkages. And this on this occasion, the sidelines of India's G20 presidency, Utkal University, in association with the Institute of Media Studies, jointly organizing these 2 days, Utsav Odisha, and we are trying our level best to revive the memories of the Odishan culture and the role of Odias towards national integration. And we have a very rich cultural heritage of the state, and we have major role in national integration. And we have heard in details about Dr. Nanda's speech. He spoke about many things about Odia people and Odisha's contribution towards national integration. So I hope this festival will also celebrate the lives of unsung heroes of Odisha contributed in Indian independence. And this festival, as Professor said that, Upendra said that it is to cover 5 sessions, 3 sessions today and 2 sessions tomorrow. And these 2 days deliberations of particularly focusing on Odishan culture and the contribution in national integration, I think our student will be benefited mostly. And I wish all the best for the successful completion of these 2 days Odisha Utsav Festival. Jai Jagannath, Bande Utkal Jana.
Thank you, madam. It's time now to invite the chief guest of this inaugural session, Sri Nikunja Bihari Dhara, to deliver his address. May I request Sri Nikunja Bihari Dhara to come upon the dais. Sir, please.
Respected Vice Chancellor, Professor Savita Acharya. ଟିକେ ଉପରୁ କରିବେ ନା am I audible? Okay. So, respected guest of honor, Dr. S.K. Nanda, Professor Shankar Patnaik, uh, then Dr. Abhay Naik, Professor Padi, Professor Chinara. I am very happy to be with you today because this is probably my first visit to Utkal University after a very long time. I never came to this university after joining Indian Administrative Service. I think when I was a student of plus two science in Ravensa College, one of my cousin sisters were studying here, so I had once come to meet her in the hostel. But so when I was coming to the university today, I just searched Chat GPT, Utkal University. I just typed, and I will tell you. I think if I can get my phone. So I learned that this is a university which is about 80 years old, which was established in the year 1843. So 1943, right. So I would like to engage with you, with the students particularly a bit. How many of you use Chat GPT? आपण मान नहीं फैकल्टी नुहे मु स्टूडेंट मान को पच बिकॉज दिस इज ए फेस्टिवल आई एम टोल्ड दिस इज फॉर द यूथ आपण मान को भितरु केते जण चैट जीपीटी यूज करूछन्ती वेरी गुड आई थिंक सम ऑफ यू यूज वेरी गुड एंड चैट जीपीटी रे मु तापर आपनकर वाइस चांसलर को विषय रे भी सर्च करली मु लिखिली प्रोफेसर सविता आचार्य and chat gpt told that I am sorry I do not know about all the personalities, can you please tell me something more about the person? Then I wrote anthropologist Savita Acharya, so then it gave something, but then tapre mu madam ko dekhaili mu kli madam dekhantu eta ଆପଣଙ୍କ ବିଷୟରେ ଠିକ କଥା କହୁଛି मैडम से कहले ना बोध हुए आउ जड़े किए सविता आचार्य अच्छा दिल्ली जेएनयू देखा ना बोध हुए विषय कहूँ सो व्हाट व्हाई आई एम मेंशनिंग अबाउट चैट जीपीटी मु एक्चुअली चैट जीपीटी प्राय 2-3 मास है मझे मझे यूज करुच्ची आम सब जिते स्कूल रे बा पढ़ुले आमको सब एसे लिखा कह जाऊला इनफैक्ट मु जो हाई स्कूल पढ़ुली सेटा भी जड़े फ्रीडम फाइटर ना ब्रजसुंदर दास का विषय सी आपण मैंने जानी सी ओडिशा रोचंती प्रथम बीए जीए इंग्लिश ऑनर्स नहीं कि पास करथिले एवं सी होचंती ओडिशा रो बिहार ओडिशा लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली रे जने मेंबर थिले एवं ओडिशा रो प्रथम साहित्य पत्रिका मुकुर सी प्रकाशन करथिले सेही मु तांकरी ना रे जो हाई स्कूल अछि मु से हाई स्कूल ले पढुतली तेणु आमे जो स्कूल पढ़ुलु प्रति वीकले गोटे गोटे एसे लिखा जाए जे ओडिया रे गोटे गोटे ओडिया टीचर कहे गोटे एसे लिखिक आण कारण से भावुले जे पिलार क्रिएटिविटी को जदि प्रोत्साहन देवार अच्छी जदि समृद्ध करिवार अच्छी मोर जदि ओडिया वर्ड टिके हब प्लीज एक्सक्यूज मी आई विल बी यूजिंग बोथ इंग्लिश एंड ओडिया ताले रेगुलर एसे लिखिबा दरकार किंतु आई कैन टेल यू चैट जीपीटी को जदि आम गोटे विषय एसे लिखा कहवा चैट जीपीटी बहुत भल एसे लिखिपर एंड इट इज ए लार्ज लैंग्वेज लर्निंग मॉडल एटारे 2019 पर्यंत डाटा अच्छी तापर एक्चुअली आउ डाटा नाही मु इंडिया रो G20 प्रेसिडेंसी विषय पचारली से कहला कि वर्तमान G20 रो प्रेसिडेंसी होची इटली किंतु इंडिया थिला 2010 रे G20 रो प्रेसिडेंट थिला मु भी जान नथली आपण माने के जानि थिले जे इंडिया 2010 रे मध्ये G20 रो प्रेसिडेंट थिला एटा नाही कि आ से भी लिखिला 2010 रे इंडिया को विषय रे ग्लोबल लीडरशिप नहीं थिला गोटे होची फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन ग्लोबल फाइनेंशियल आर्किटेक्चर को स्ट्रांग करिवा पई एवं डेवलपमेंट रे इक्विटेबल गोटे ग्रोथ आनिबा पई सब से लिखिला सब भल भल कथा लिखिला एंड ऑब्वियसली दी देन प्राइम मिनिस्टर वाज एन इकोनॉमिस्ट सो सेथि पई इंडिया ई सब एरिया एप्रोप्रिएट इंटरवेंशन करिथिला व्हाई आई एम टेलिंग दिस because you see my elder son who is a graduate of IIT Kharagpur he after graduation he worked with an American bank apan man janithibe JP Morgan Chase for 3 years then he has been working with Indian social media company apan man janithibe share chat boli gote company achi जो गुड मॉर्निंग, गुड इवनिंग, हैप्पी रथ यात्रा, हैप्पी दुर्गा पूजा सब मेसेज आसे. सो ही वर्क्स एट द बैक एंड. एंड बैक एंड मीन्स जे जेतेबे देखिबे कनकरेंट यूजर माने करंतु देखिबे 31 डिसेम्बर राति 11 रु 12 भितर केते लोक न्यू ईयर यूज करुथिबे इंडिया रे विभिन्न भाषा रे, ओडिया हो, तमिल हो, कन्नड़ हो, कारण ये जो शेयर चैट इंग्लिश रे नहीं, एटा सब इंडियन लैंग्वेज रे अछि. प्राय मु देखुଥିଲି प्राय 10 कोटी रु अधिक लोक ताको व्यवहार करुथिले गोटे एंड से समय एंड 10 कोटी लोक गोटे जदि सिस्टम व्यवहार करुचंती से सिस्टम फेल करिवार बहुत प्रोबेबिलिटी अछि. But then my son and his team were working to see that actually people are able to send messages and it doesn't crash. But he was also telling me ki papa, I think most of the people who are working in IT sector, their job will go in 5 years, and the area in which I am working, my job will also go in next 10 years unless we upgrade ourselves. This is the challenge of technology. ମୁଁ एक्चुअली टिके पास्ट विषय एते कहबाकू कारण आगुर जो एसटीएम स्पीकर माने पास्ट विषय बहुत कही तेणु मु से विषय कहबाकू चाहूनी. मु केवल दुईटा विषय फोकस करुच्ची. गोटे होची टेक्नोलॉजी. सो टुडेज यूथ, even today's they have to prepare themselves for the future. The way technology is actually changing, it is evolving. And similarly academicians आपण माने I think मु पचारुतली प्रोफेसर पटनायक को मु कहली एही हॉल रे केते फैकल्टी अछंती, केते स्टूडेंट अछंती. He told me that the first 3 rows are occupied by the faculty. Okay, so faculty मानको मध्य आमको पिला मानको सेति पय प्रस्तुत करबाकू पड़िबो. In fact we need to tell our children about the challenges of the future. सेकेंड होची क्लाइमेट चेंज. मु कहीं क्लाइमेट चेंज कथा कहूची ना मु एठी की एई मोर प्रेजेंट पोजीशन ने मु प्राय मासे हैला अछि. ता पूर्व मु ओडिसा रो एडिशनल चीफ सेक्रेटरी एनर्जी थिली. एनर्जी माने बोथ कन्वेंशनल एनर्जी, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी एंड रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी. एंड एक्चुअली आमर एनर्जी सेक्टर जो चैलेंज होची दैट इज ह्यूमंगस. लेट मी टेल यू, ह्यूमंगस. In fact, there is an institute which is a federal institute of USA, National Oceanographic Administration बोली गोटे तार इंस्टीट्यूट अच्छी. से माने गोटे कले 1950 रु 2020 भितर ओडिसा रा एवरेज टेम्परेचर प्राय 1.6 डिग्री सेल्सियस बढ़ी. How many of you knew this data? Please, can you please raise your hands? But how many आपण मानक भितर केते जण भाबुचंती एटा बहुत तो जन्म ही नथिबे. 1950 रे तो मु भी जन्म ही नथिले. मोर डेट ऑफ बर्थ होची 1970 रो. किंतु आपण माने जो माने 70 रो आज भितर देखितबे, डोंट यू फील द समर्स हैव बिकम हार्शर, द समर्स हैव बिकम longer. In fact, last year भुवनेश्वर आमे देखुतलु जे compared to 2021 summer, in 22 summer the energy demand was going up and up and up, and during the 3 months April to June it went up by about 30%. And I will tell you 2 examples. मु जेतेबेले एबे तो NIT राउरकेला कुआ जाउची, REC राउरकेला आमर सेतेबेले दीटा ट्रेनिंग थाए. समर ट्रेनिंग सेकेंड ईयर पर गोटे मास पाई, थर्ड ईयर पर गोटे मास पाई. सेकेंड ईयर पर मु टीटीपीएस बोली गोटे थिला, तालचेर थर्मल पावर स्टेशन. आपण जानि थिबे किस दिन हला से पावर स्टेशन ता बंद हेई के अछि, कारण तार प्राय 70 वर्ष चलला पर ओडिसा रो जो ओल्डेस्ट थर्मल पावर स्टेशन इट इज नाउ शट डाउन. इन फैक्ट सेटी दुईटा नवा यूनिट आसीबो 660 मेगावाट रो, 1320 मेगावाट. मु जेतले सेटी समर ट्रेनिंग नउथली, आमर जने कॉमन फ्रेंड कर मामू सेतेबेले कंजर्वेटर फॉरेस्ट थिले अनुगुल. आमे तंगु भेटिबेकु आसिलु. तो आमे फॉरेस्ट रेस्ट हाउस रे सेटी रहिलु. मु कहूची मे मासर कथा. सेतेबेले जदी आपण मे मास रे फैन देई कि सोइबे रात रे आपण को शीत लागुथिला. मु अनुगुल कथा कहूची. तापरे 2002 समर रे मु अनुगुल कलेक्टर ही कि गली. इनफैक्ट आई हैव सीन द चेंज सेतेबेले मो सान पुओटा से प्राय ही वाज ओनली अबाउट 2 इयर्स ओल्ड सो आमे 12:30 रे आसी कि अनुगुल सर्किट हाउस रे पहुंचलु आमे सुंदरगढ़ रो आसिलु मो कलेक्टर सुंदरगढ़ थिली सेठू आसिली तापर आसु आसु मो सान पुओ कहूची क्ला पापा आम घर को पळेबा माने कुआडे जीवा ना सेतरे तार कला सुंदरगढ़ पळेबा बिकॉज सुंदरगढ़ हाउस वाज ओल्ड हाउस तार गोटे सीलिंग थिला ठंडा लगुथिला किंतु अनुगुल वाज वर्चुअली बॉइलिंग माने इट वाज मु भी टिटलागढ़ रो भी सब कलेक्टर थिली सेठी लोक माने ताको तातिलागढ़ कहंती सो एक्चुअली क्लाइमेट चेंज इज रियल एंड इट इज अफेक्टिंग ए लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स not only and climate change unless we actually adopt mitigation measures uh, at personal level, at society level, at global level, I think the humanity is going to pay a very very heavy price. Of course the technological solutions would come, but then we have to work as a collective to basically address the challenges of climate change. Then I think another issue I would like to say, I think G20 जो present presidency India रो focus होची वसुधैव कुटुंबकम माने one world or rather one earth, one family and one future. Actually that is very much true, let me tell you. And we have to, all of us are fast global citizens, let me tell you. सपोज आमे समस्ते कहबा कि आमे उत्कल यूनिवर्सिटी स्टूडेंट अच्छु बा आमे उत्कल यूनिवर्सिटी फैकल्टी अच्छु दैट इज वन पार्ट ऑफ आवर आइडेंटिटी आई हैव आल्सो आइडेंटिटी आई बिलोंग टू दिस विलेज आई बिलोंग टू दिस डिस्ट्रिक्ट आई बिलोंग टू दिस स्टेट बट आई थिंक आवर फर्स्ट आइडेंटिटी इज वी आर ऑल ग्लोबल सिटीजन्स and we have to think at a global level but we have to act at the local level. Why at a local level? बिकज आम जदि समस्ते कहबा ना एटा तो बहुत बड़ समस्या क्लाइमेट चेंज टा एते बड़ समस्या टेक्नोलॉजिकल इवोल्यूशन टा होची एते बड़ समस्या ए से अमेरिका रो समाधान किछि खोजिबो बा यूनाइटेड नेशंस आर किछि सॉल्यूशन खोजिबो बा भारत सरकार आर किछि सॉल्यूशन बाहर करिवे कि ओडिसा एटा तो ओडिसा सरकार देखिबा कथा सेतरे मोर किछि कहबार नाही. Actually this kind of attitude we have to abandon. We have to think global and act local. And ମୁଁ in fact ଆଜି ଯେତେବେଳେ ଫେରୁଥିଲି ସକାଳୁ ସକାଳୁ ଦେଖିଲି ଆମର ରାଜଭବନ ସାମ୍ନାରେ ଯୋଉ କୁଳ ବୃଦ୍ଧ ଉତ୍କଳ ଦାସଙ୍କର ଷ୍ଟାଚ୍ୟୁ ଅଛି ସେଠି ସବୁ ଫୁଲମାଳ ଦିଆ ହଉଥିଲା. ତେଣୁ डेफिनेटली आपण माने भी मधु बाबूଙ୍କ विषय बहुत किसी कथा कहले. मोर माने अच्छी मु ओडिया मीडियम स्कूल रे पढुतली 9th क्लास रे आमर सेतबे नुवा साहित्य बही इंट्रोड्यूस हेतिला माने अभय बाबू एरिका कि मैडम जो जो साहित्य बही पढिथिबे टिके अलगा बही पढतला सेतरे गोटे मु एबे माने पकईबा को चेष्टा करूथली सेतरे गोटे लेखा थिला जे भुवनेश्वर रे पद चिन्ह परे लेखा अछि राजा रानी नीलाचल धामे पूजा पाऊ अच्छी हिंदू जाति मथा मणि. इनफैक्ट आमको जो टीचर साहित्य पढ़ाऊले सी सब बड़े कहते जे गोटे एक्चुअली आसे गोटे आपण मान जदि मन थी जे गोटे स्टांजा आसो तार तुम इलाबोरेट कर माने कौन ताको कहते टिके सार मैंने कहीपर सरलार्थ लेख राइट राइट. सो सी कहते एटा मु एमती तमें जहाँ भावुच लेख. इनफैक्ट सो सेतेबेले मु भुवनेश्वर ता पूर्व आसी नथिली किंतु नाउ आई लिव इन भुवनेश्वर. आई हैव बीन लिविंग इन भुवनेश्वर since 2006 except a 1 year break in America when I went there to do my masters in public administration and then I was in government of India for about 5.5 years. so ताको छाड़ी देले. इनफैक्ट आम एठी मु सेथि पई भाबुतली जे मु जान नथिली जे भुवनेश्वर रे एते गुडे टेम्पल अछि. एटा होची गोटे मंदिर मालिनी शहर and Rajarani is such a beautiful temple. In fact the Mukteswar is probably that gate is much more beautiful. And similarly मु जेते दिन पर्यंत मु जाई नथिली IIT दिल्ली रे पढिबा पई से दिन पर्यंत प्रोबेबली ए जो जगन्नाथ को कहीं कि हिंदू जातिर मथामणि कुआ जाउची मु भी सेटा जान नथिली. कारण आमर आईआईटी रे गोटे सिस्टम थाए 8 टा रु 12 टा क्लास हुए पुणी 1 रु 5 टा क्लास हुए. So आमको सकाळु सब टाइम मिलेनी टू टेक बाथ. वी नॉर्मली टेक बाथ इन द इवनिंग. और दिल्ली रे बहुत ठंडा हुए. सो गोटे बड़ बड़ बॉयलर सब थाए जोड़ा पानी हीटिंग करे. सो एमती आमे बेले बेले से जो स्टाफ माने काम करंती तांको विषय तांको सहित आमे कथावार्ता हो. कथावार्ता से जड़े स्टाफ जानले कि से बॉयलर ऑपरेटर आम घर होची ओडिसा रे. ओडिशा ओडिशा को लोक कम जानती बा जानूले से जगन्नाथ देश कहले बहुत लोक जानूले बुझे. इनफैक्ट से पचारे आप जगन्नाथ देश से हो. मैं बोला मैं हाँ जगन्नाथ देश से हूँ. सेठू मु जानिली जे मधुबाबू कहीं लिखिते से जे जगन्नाथ को कहीं से हिंदू जातिर मथामणि बोली लिखिते. सो वी एंड रिसेंटली आई डोंट नो हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू केम. आमे बहुत बड़ बड़ इवेंट एबे सब कले. हॉकी वर्ल्ड कप कले. आमे 15 मास रे वर्ल्ड रो लार्जेस्ट हॉकी स्टेडियम राउरकेला रे तैयारी कले. In fact, Bhubaneswar city, let me tell you, anybody who comes here, they fall in love with the city, let me tell you. And ଆମର ଚିଫ୍ ମିନିଷ୍ଟର ଗୋଟେ ଆର୍ଟିକଲ ଲେଖିଥିଲେ 2018 ମସିହାରେ. ସେଟା ସେ କହିଥିଲେ ସେତେବେଳେ ବି ହେଇଥିଲା ହକି ୱାର୍ଲଡ କପ୍ ହେଇଥିଲା 2018 ମସିହାରେ. ଆପଣମାନେ ଯଦି ମନେ ରଖିବେ ସେ ଲେଖିଥିଲେ ଏଠି ବହୁତ ଫରେନ୍ କଣ୍ଟ୍ରିରୁ ପ୍ଲେୟାର ମାନେ ଆସିଲେ, ବହୁତ ଆମ୍ବାସଡର ଆସିଲେ. ଆଉ ସେମାନେ କହିଲେ ଯେ ହ୍ୱାଟ ଏ ବ୍ୟୁଟିଫୁଲ ପ୍ଲେସ୍ ମାନେ ଓଡ଼ିଶା ବିଷୟରେ एंड व्हाट ए ब्यूटीफुल पीपुल माने दिस इज हाउ वी आर नोन माने आमर ओडिया मानकू एक्चुअली समस्ते भल पाती. लेट मी टेल यू नोबडी ट्रीट्स अस एज ए नॉर्थ इंडियन, नोबडी ट्रीट्स अस एज ए साउथ इंडियन. जे दिन थिला जे ओडिशा को लोक कहते एटा होची कलकत्ता तळे बा हैदराबाद रो ऊपर. एबे केही ए कथा पचारिबेनी. सो लेट मी टेल यू वी मस्ट फील वेरी प्राउड of our heritage, our culture, even our present. We must be very proud of what we have been doing post independence also. In fact, whether it is last 20 years or whether it is last 10 years, whether it is last 30 years, I don't want to associate with any political history, but we can be very truly proud of our achievements post independent, and we have a very very glorious future. I think this is a very appropriate time that Utsav University in association with Institute of Media Studies is organizing this event, Utsav Odisha. So I wish the celebration all success, and I hope that the students will be greatly inspired from such celebration, where they will take pride in our rich heritage, and they will commit themselves as truly global citizens to challenge the addresses locally and to contribute in the building of a great nation. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, sir. Wishing all the best not only to Utsav Odisha but to Odisha itself. We come to the end of the meeting, but before that, before closing, we'd like to felicitate and offer mementos to the guests on the dais. Volunteers are requested to bring the mementos. I request Professor Sabita Acharya ma'am to kindly offer a shawl to the chief guest of this morning, Sri Nikunja Bihari III, and a small memento. I request Professor Upendra Padi to felicitate the Vice Chancellor Utkal University, Professor Sabita Acharya ma'am, with a shawl and a small piece of memento. But for whose cooperation this function would not have seen the light of the day. My request, Professor Padi, to felicitate the keynote speaker, Dr. S.K. Nanda sir. He has contributed a beautiful article to the commemorative volume and also delivered a wonderful keynote address. Professor Padi is requested to felicitate the Chairperson Postgraduate Council, Professor Durga Sankar Patnaik. Professor of Geology, Utkal University and Chairman Postgraduate Council, Professor Durga Sankar Patnaik, with a memento and a shawl. Professor Padi to felicitate the Registrar of the University, Dr. Abhay Kumar Naik sir. As we come to the end of this inaugural session, it's my turn now to offer a formal vote of thanks. I thank all the dignitaries on the dais, the chief guest, Sri Nikunja Bihari Dhar, for sparing his valuable time and delivering a wonderful address to the august audience. The Vice Chancellor and the Registrar are felicitating the man behind the show, Professor Upendra Padi, Director, Institute of Media Studies. Continuing with my vote of thanks, I offer a heartfelt thanks to the chief guest of this morning, Sri Nikunja Bihari Dhar, sir, for your august presence. I also offer my thanks to Dr. S.K. Nanda, former Additional Chief Secretary Government of Gujarat, for his presence and for his deliberations. I thank Professor Sabita Acharya Ma'am, Vice Chancellor Utkal University, Chairman Postgraduate Council, Professor Durga Sankar Patnaik, and the Registrar Utkal University, Dr. Abhay Kumar Naik, for all the cooperation and hand-holding that they have extended to make this function a success. I must thank Professor Upendra Padi for his relentless efforts and continuous perseverance in successful conduct of this program, for bringing the dream to this stage of realization. I must thank my faculty colleagues, all the faculty colleagues who have supported us in all our efforts always, the research scholars, the students, not only students of Utkal University, but also students from Institute of Media Studies, all the theme speakers and moderators who are going to be with us for the next 2 days, that is on today and tomorrow, and all people from the media and all the stakeholders of Utkal University. Please forgive me if I'm not able to take your name, but all your efforts and all your hard work has been reflected in the successful completion of this inaugural function. Very soon, in just 5 minutes, we'll start the first plenary. Thank you all. And we end the inaugural ceremony with the national anthem. All are requested to pay respect by keeping standing in their respective positions. National anthem may be played.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you, sir. In 2 minutes, we'll start the first plenary. I shall request the moderator of the first plenary session to kindly come upon the stage and take up the responsibility of conducting the first plenary session. Thank you so much.
Esteemed members on the dais, Sri Nikunja Bihari Dhal, Chief Speaker,
So after inaugural session, now we'll go for the first plenary session of the Utsav Odisha. Friends, the theme of the first plenary session is Unity in Diversity, Role of Odisha in National Integration. So we have our chairperson of this session, Madam Dr. Nivedita Mahanti, and we have panel speakers, Professor Ashok Kumar Patnaik and Professor Amal Kumar Mishra. Now I request all the panel speakers and the chairperson of this plenary session to come to the dais. And Professor Brahmananda Satpathy is the coordinator and moderator of this first plenary session. Now I request Professor Brahmananda Satpathy to come to dais and coordinate and moderate this first plenary session. Dear all participants and our invited guests and friends, I request you all to maintain all silence and cooperate us to start the first plenary session as quick as possible. I need your support and cooperation the way you all extend during our inaugural function.
I cordially welcome all of you to this panel session one, and the theme that we have is unity in diversity and the role of Odisha in the process of national integration. I welcome our chairperson, Dr. Nivedita Mohanty, of this session. She is a known historian and she has given perspective to Odia identity, which deals with the birth, growth of Odia nationalism, which becomes a major aspect of modern Odisha history. And in addition, that she has done and doing also to the process of integration of the Odisha princely states. It was earlier called Chamber of Princes. She has authored Odia Nationalism, Quest for a United Odisha, 1866 to 1956. It is written 4 decades before. For all of your knowledge and information, Dr. Mahanti pursued her PhD at Heidelberg University. With us, we have erudite scholars as key speakers, Professor Ashok Kumar Patnaik, who served this institution, university, and the PG Department of History for a long time and conducted various researches, produced many PhDs, and has been teaching and delivering lectures on these issues. How many times I do not know. I have not counted it. I congratulate him that he has agreed to come and to deliberate or to have a discourse on this topic. I equally invite Professor Amal Kumar Misra, who is a very noted scholar on this subject. Those who have read his articles and contributions, they can know it easily. And to me, what strikes the most is the freedom struggle in Odisha, a new look. It is an exhaustive battle. And I think nothing is left in that article. Something is missing in that article. It is a very exhaustive article, and when you come across that article, kindly read it. Freedom struggle in Odisha, a new look. With this, because I will not speak, I will speak last. Where there is unity, there is diversity. Therefore, unity and diversity are integrally related. Therefore, there is nothing wrong in it, and we are a post-colonial society. Diversity is rooted in us in many ways, and we are still in the process of nation building and state building. We are a polynational state, and in a polynational state, diversity is a natural phenomenon. With these words, I welcome esteemed chairperson to give her views or to deliberate on this topic. Professor Madam Navanita Mahanti, please.
Esteemed my fellow panelists on the dais, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and media persons. We pay our homage to Utkala Gaurava Madhusudan Das today because it is his birthday and which is observed as our Swabhiman Day, so appropriate. And looking at the title of our plenary session or the whole panel discussion, how appropriate it is on the birthday of the visionary, the maker of modern Odisha. While thinking about such a discussion, we must realize that 87 years ago, on the 1st of April 1936, the first linguistic state province of Odisha was formed, that too when India was not free, it was under the British India. And subsequently, 12, 13 years later, the Gujarat, the princely states were merged and the greater Odisha was formed. Odisha was the first linguistic state in the country. The merger of the princely states was the first step in the liquidation of the princely order in the country. So, in the Indian context, two very significant turning points of Indian history started in Odisha through Odia nationalism, which we call also the Odia movement. Um, One's loyalty to the traditions built up in his homeland due to its language, its religion, its history, and its geographical location is desirable and inevitable. When such traditions or any part of it is thwarted, is challenged by outsiders with selfish interest, it is natural that there would be resistance. And in order to make the resistance successful, first of all, efforts are made to strengthen oneself through the regeneration and carry on the resistance. Such a dream of developing the language, literature, culture created in the second half of the 19th century, the Renaissance and the strong waves of nationalism. Now, this was a global wave. Art, literature, and concern for humanity played a creative and constructive role. This way, Odisha was identified with the world atmosphere, world situation. The Odia nationalism was in no way indicative of narrow mindedness or violence. Starting with the language agitation, this nationalism carried its movement all through, not through sword but pen. The pen protected its language, enriched literature, encouraged the spread of education, attempting to clean the society. It created a progressive society like the 100 petal lotus of Renasha blossomed. Our identity became richer. Identity is not static. With heritage and traditions, it also collects newer ideas and values and enriches itself. What is the essence of Odia nationalism? With the language agitation, a conscious effort was directed for creating the concept of language, literature, and the region, forming triad that would build up the edifice of the Odia movement. Significantly, the model of harmony would be a powerful trend in most of the regions of the country in the years to follow. The Odia movement started with the explicit purpose of glorifying and affirming the heritage of the land, of preparing a knowledge base for disseminating a feeling of pride in the inheritance in the society, and significantly strengthening and enhancing it. Here comes our old scriptures, our Puranas. Significantly, Lakshmi Purana, which is not only a book on our cultural tradition, also clearly indicates the gender values. Our Lord Jagannath is the Lord of the universe. Every day his glory in unifying the cultural regions of the world is multiplying, what to speak of Indian integration. The Rath Yatra of Jagannath is celebrated all over. During the construction of the regional personality, it was made essential to relate to and understand the country's heritage. Thus, epics were translated and our scriptures were transferred from palm leaf manuscripts to the printed form for a wider readership. And also, during this time, the all the influences all over the country, starting from bhakti movement to starting from Sankaracharya bhakti movement, everything came and made Puri the center of the religious center of Odisha under the banner of Jagannath richer and to Odishan culture and also spread the traditions all over. Now, when Madhusudan Das founded his Utkala Sammelani, he had understood the tradition of Orissa, the liberal tradition of Orissa. So, this National Assembly, when he founded, he made it very clear that this National Assembly doesn't belong to only, it belongs to Odisha, of course, doesn't belong to only whose mother tongue is Odia. It belongs to those who live in Odisha, having the welfare of the state, the love of the region in mind. That is why he had understood the tradition. That is why our language agitation, which was the Bengali Odia language controversy, the leading role was taken by a domiciled Bengali, Gauri Shankar Rai. Where do you find such a tradition? Also, the Trinity who glorified, enriched our literature, including Fakir Mohan Sanapati, was Radhanath Rai, a Bengali, Bhakta Kavi Madhusudan Rai, a Marathi. Where to find such language where the region was facing suffering because of language exploitation, not only in the mainland but in the outlying areas under the different linguistic influences of Bengali, Hindi, of Telugu. Here also you find inside Odisha, we are embracing all the linguistic and religious groups to be part of the Odia regeneration if they actually loved India and thought good of the region. So this is the tradition that evolved in our Odia nationalism. And what to say of Gopabandhu Das and Satyavadi? He was like Bhagiratha, brought the Indian national movement to the regional movement. It was initially a conflict, but gradually they became complementary to each other. And the all India waves came, and side by side with the Indian Odisha regional movement, the Indian national movement also continued. And this has also a great impact on the whole of the country. Now, there had been some argument later on that if it was Odia linguistic province. Why it was Odia only? Because part of it, Odisha, were the tribal people. What about their language? How is that they were not recognized? But we must remember that during that time, Odisha's regional history, when the unification demand was made, it was because the language controversy started, somehow the language became our main weapon to fight for our nationalism. And for that, we realized that there are many Odia speaking areas lying outside with other linguistic group. So there, Odia that was the official language. The language which was spoken by majority was taken as the flagship and was taken as the core point to organize, to fight, and to build up our nationalism. Now, when the Gurjats came, were merged with Odisha, the first linguistic province, the argument was that this was all Odia princely order. In the medieval time, there were the Hinduization, the Sanskritization had taken place, and Odia had the rulers were installed who were asked to make the official language Odia. They were they were loyal. They were under the central power, that is the Gajapati of Puri. So they were the Odia princely states, and subsequently, as we know, they became part of the Odisha princely states um, in the administrative sense. So when the Congress were fighting and the Odisha states are fighting to integrate these princely states, they were the Odia states. The kings spoke Odia, official language was Odia. There, the historical connection was much emphasized, and language didn't play the significant role. So, the tribal language then was not brought into notice. It was subsequently that, however, today about the tribal language, tribal welfare, the multilingual system, the tribal mother tongue are the focus, which would also help the growth of Odisha in the all India context, and it would also contribute towards the integration of the country. In the freedom movement, both the tribals and the plain people, and also the outlying areas, Odia speaking areas, contributed immensely to the freedom of the country. What about Lakhana Nayak, to Gopabandhu Das here, to the women Congress leaders who fought incessantly for the freedom of the country under Gandhi's leadership are all well known. So what I'm trying to say, this kind of Odia regionalism and the national movement, which worked together also subsequently, contributed to the integration of India. The first regional movement with the characteristics that are positive and healthy. To be independent of provincial dominance was to strengthen the federal structure necessary for the healthy unity of the country. Regional unity was a kind of the pioneering attempt to showcase the possibility of unity through the diverse cultures and languages. Thank you.
Thank you, madam, for your kind deliberation. Now may I request Professor Ashok Kumar Patnaik, former professor and head, to highlight or to give his opinion or viewpoints on this topic, that unity in diversity, the role of Odisha in national integration. May I now invite Professor Patnaik to deliver it.
আজির সভার সভাপতি ম্যাডাম মহান্তি, ସାନ ଭାଇ ବ୍ରହ୍ମାନନ୍ଦ, ମୋ ବନ୍ଧୁ ଅମଲ, ପ୍ରଫେସର ଅମଲ ମିଶ୍ର, ପ୍ରଫେସର ଉପେନ୍ଦ୍ର ପାଢ଼ୀ, ଆଗରେ ବସିଥିବା ପ୍ରଫେସର ଦେବୀ ପ୍ରସନ୍ନ ପଟ୍ଟନାୟକ ଓ ଫ୍ୟାକଲ୍ଟି ବିଭିନ୍ନ ଡିପାର୍ଟମେଣ୍ଟ ଏବଂ ବାହାର ଡିପାର୍ଟମେଣ୍ଟରୁ ଆସିଥିବା ଫ୍ୟାକଲ୍ଟି ମାନେ ଓ ପ୍ରିୟ ଛାତ୍ରଛାତ୍ରୀ, ଉପେନ୍ଦ୍ର ମୋତେ କହିଲେ ମୁଁ ଭାବିଲି આપણે କାହିଁକି କହିବାକୁ ଯିବୁ। ଦୁଇଟା କଥା ମନକୁ ଆସିଲା। ନମ୍ବର ୱାନ୍, ଯେ whom I am going to address, ମୁଁ ହେପି ହିଷ୍ଟ୍ରି ବାହାରେ ଅନ୍ୟ ପିଲା ଆସିଛନ୍ତି ଏବଂ ଏସ୍ପେଶାଲି ମିଡ଼ିଆ ଷ୍ଟଡିଜ୍ ପିଲା ଯେ ଆସୁଛନ୍ତି, ଦେ ମଷ୍ଟ ନୋ ଆବାଉଟ୍ ଦି କଲଚର ଅଫ୍ ଓଡ଼ିଶା। ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଇଜ୍ ଭେରି ଇମ୍ପୋର୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ। ଯେ ଟିଚର ଅଫ୍ ହିଷ୍ଟ୍ରି ୟୁ ମଷ୍ଟ ଟେଲ୍ ଦେମ୍ ଆମେ କ'ଣ କଲଚର ବୁଝୁ ଏବଂ କଲଚର ଏସେନ୍ସଟା କ'ଣ, ତା ଭିତରେ ପ୍ରାଣ କୋଉଠି ଅଛି, ଜୀବନଟା କୋଉଠି ଅଛି କହିବା ଦରକାର। ଏବଂ ଦ୍ୱିତୀୟ କଥା ହେଲା, ଉପେନ୍ଦ୍ର ଡାକିଲେ ଏବଂ ଯେତେ ଆସିବାକୁ ଭାବିଲି ଇଏ ଦିସ୍ ଇଜ୍ ଭେରି ଇମ୍ପୋର୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ ଆସ୍ପେକ୍ଟ ଅଫ୍ ହିଷ୍ଟ୍ରି। ଆମେ ପିଲାଙ୍କୁ ସବୁବେଳେ ଆରମ୍ଭ କଲେ, ପାଠ ହେଲେ ଆରମ୍ଭ କରୁ ଭାରତୀୟ ସଭ୍ୟତା, ଭାରତୀୟ ସଂସ୍କୃତି କହିଲା ବେଳେ ଆମେ when we speak of Indian culture, ଆମେ ପ୍ରଥମେ ଆରମ୍ଭ କରୁ ୟୁନିଟି ଆଣ୍ଡ ଡାଇଭର୍ସିଟି, ବିବିଧତାରେ ଏକତା, ଐକ୍ୟ। ଏଇଠୁ ହିଁ ଆମର ପାଠ ଆରମ୍ଭ ହୁଏ, ତାକୁ ହିଁ ଆମେ ପ୍ରଥମେ ପଢଉ। ମୋ ଦେଶ ଇଂଲଣ୍ଡ ନୁହେଁ, ମୋ ଦେଶ ଜର୍ମାନୀ ନୁହେଁ, ଫ୍ରାନ୍ସ ନୁହେଁ, ମୋ ଦେଶ ମଲ୍ଟି କଲଚରାଲ କଣ୍ଟ୍ରି। ଏଠି କଲଚର କହିଲେ ମୁଁ ଯାହା ବୁଝେ, ଅନ୍ୟମାନେ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଓଡ଼ିଶାର ଭାରତର ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ରଦେଶ ଲୋକଙ୍କ ପାଇଁ ଅନ୍ୟ ପ୍ରକାର କଲଚର ଅଛି। ମୁଁ ଯୋଉ ଭାଷା କହେ ସେଇ ଭାଷା ମୁଁ କହିଲେ ତମର ଆମ ହିଷ୍ଟ୍ରି ଡିପାର୍ଟମେଣ୍ଟ ଆମର ହେଡ୍ ଅଛନ୍ତି ଜୟନ୍ତୀ ମ୍ୟାଡାମ, ତାଙ୍କର ସମ୍ବଲପୁରରେ ଓଡ଼ିଆ କହିବାଟା ଆମଠୁ ଅଲଗା ହବ ଏବଂ ଆମେ ଓଡ଼ିଶା ବାହାରକୁ ଗଲେ ଦେଖିବୁ ଭାଷା। ସୋ ମଲ୍ଟି ଲିଙ୍ଗୁଆଲ କଣ୍ଟ୍ରି, ମଲ୍ଟି କଲଚରାଲ କଣ୍ଟ୍ରି, କେତେ ଜାତି, କେତେ ଧର୍ମ, କେତେ ବର୍ଣ୍ଣ, କେତେ ପ୍ରକାର ବ୍ୟବସ୍ଥା ଚଳଣି, ଏ ସବୁ ପିଲା ଜାଣିବା ଦରକାର। ଜାଣିବା ହିଁ ହେଲେ ସେ ଜାଣିବ ଯୋଉଟା ଉପେନ୍ଦ୍ର ବଢିଆ ବିଷୟ ରଖିଛନ୍ତି, ୟୁନିଟି ଇନ୍ ଡାଇଭର୍ସିଟି। Integration ଆସିଲା କୋଉଠୁ? Because we have got unity, we have got diversity. So diversity को ଆମେ ମିଶେଇକି ଆସୁ, ସେଣ୍ଟ୍ରିପେଟାଲ ଫୋର୍ସ କରିକି ଆଣୁଛୁ, ସେଇଟା ଆସୁଛି କାରଣ ୟୁନିଟି ଡାଇଭର୍ସିଟି। ସେଇଟା ହିଁ ହେଉଛି ନ୍ୟାସନାଲ ଇଣ୍ଟିଗ୍ରେସନର ପ୍ରଣବୀତ। ଯେତେବେଳେ ଏକଥା ଆମେ କୁହାଯାଉଛି ଭାରତ ବିଷୟରେ, ବା ମୁଁ ଯାହା କହିଲି ମଲ୍ଟି ରିଲିଜିୟସ୍, ଆମ ଧର୍ମ ବହୁତ ଅଛି, ଆମ ଜାତି ବହୁତ ଅଛି, ଆମର ସବୁ ରକମ ଅଛି। ତ ଭାରତ କଣ୍ଟେକ୍ସଟରେ ଯଦି ଆମେ ଆଗରୁ ଦେଖି ଆସିବା, ବୁଦ୍ଧିଜିମ୍, ଜୈନିଜିମ୍, ତାପରେ ଆମର ଶିଖିଜିମ୍, ଇସଲାମ, ଖ୍ରୀଷ୍ଟିଆନିଟି ଏବଂ ହିନ୍ଦୁଇଜିମ୍, ଆମେ ଏସବୁ ଦେଖିବା ଏବଂ ଟ୍ରାଇବାଲ ରିଲିଜନ ତା ଭିତରେ ଅଛି। ଆମେ ସବୁ ଦେଖିବା କେଭଳି ଭାବରେ ଆମେ ସମସ୍ତେ ମିଶି ଗୋଟେ ଏକ ଜାଗାରେ ସେ ପହଞ୍ଚି ଯାଉଛୁ। ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଇଜ୍ ଦି ୱେ ୱି ଫଟ୍ ଆୱାର ଫ୍ରିଡମ୍ ଷ୍ଟ୍ରଗଲ୍। ଗୋଟେ ମଡର୍ଣ୍ଣିଷ୍ଟ ଛାତ୍ର ଭାବରେ ପାଠ ପଢିଲା ଭାବୁଛି ଯେ ଆମ ପିଲା, ଆମେ ଯୋଉ ଜାତୀୟ ସଂଗ୍ରାମରେ ଝାସ ଦେଲୁ, ସେ ସଂଗ୍ରାମ ଥିଲା ଗୋଟେ ସଂଗ୍ରାମ ଯେତେ ବିଭିନ୍ନ ଜାତି, ଧର୍ମ, ଲୋକ ବା ଅଞ୍ଚଳ ଲୋକମାନେ ଜାଗ ଦେଇଥିଲେ। ସୋ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଇଜ୍ ହାଉ ୱି ଫାଇଟ୍ ଟୁ ଇଣ୍ଟିଗ୍ରେଟେଡ୍ ଆୱାର ହୋଲ୍ ନେସନ୍ ଇନ୍ ଫ୍ରିଡମ୍ ମୁଭମେଣ୍ଟ। ଏବଂ ସେଇ ଫ୍ରିଡମ୍ ମୁଭମେଣ୍ଟରେ ଯେଉଁମାନେ ଜାଗ ଦେଇଥିଲେ, ଆମେ ସେ ଦେଖୁଛୁ ଦେ ଏବଂ ସେମାନେ ବିଶ୍ୱାସ କରୁଥିଲେ, ଆଇ ରେସ୍ପେକ୍ଟ ୟୁର କଲଚର, ୟୁ ରେସ୍ପେକ୍ଟ ମାଇ କଲଚର, ଆଇ ରେସ୍ପେକ୍ଟ ୟୁର ଲାଙ୍ଗୁଏଜ, ୟୁ ରେସ୍ପେକ୍ଟ ମାଇ ଲାଙ୍ଗୁଏଜ। ମୋ ଚଳନୀକୁ ତମେ ନ ମାନିପାର, ବଟ୍ ମୋ ପରିଚିତ ବିରୋଧ କରିବନି। ମୁଁ ତମ ଚଳନୀକୁ, ତମ କଥାବାର୍ତ୍ତାକୁ, ତମ ସଂସ୍କୃତିକୁ, ତମ ଖାଦ୍ୟକୁ, ତମ ସାହିତ୍ୟକୁ ମୁଁ ତାକୁ ରେସ୍ପେକ୍ଟ କରିବି। respect my culture and I will respect your culture. So that is why you find ଏବଂ ଯଦି ଭାରତ ବର୍ଷ ଏକଦା ଘଟିଥିଲା ଏବଂ ଯାହା ଫଳରେ ଗୋଟେ ବିରାଟ ଜାତୀୟ ଆନ୍ଦୋଳନ ସୃଷ୍ଟି ହେଇପାରିଲା ଏବଂ ଜାତୀୟ ଆନ୍ଦୋଳନରେ ବିଭିନ୍ନ ପ୍ରଦେଶ ଲୋକମାନେ ଯୋଗ ଦେଲେ ଏବଂ ସେ ଆନ୍ଦୋଳନ ଆଗକୁ ଚାଲିଲା ଏବଂ ତା ଫଳରେ ଆମେ ଯଦି ଓଡ଼ିଶାକୁ ଆସି ପହଞ୍ଚିବା ଏବଂ ଓଡ଼ିଶାର ଏମିତି ଆମର ବହୁତ ଥିଲା ଅବସ୍ଥା ଆମର ବହୁତ ଡିଫରେନ୍ସ ଥିଲା ଆମର ବି ଅଛି ଆମର 62ଟି ଆଦିବାସୀ ଗ୍ରୁପ ଅଛନ୍ତି ଟ୍ରାଇବାଲ ଗ୍ରୁପ୍ସ ସେମାନେ ଭାରତ ଓଡ଼ିଶାରେ ଥିଲେ ଆମ ଓଡ଼ିଶା ଭିତରେ ବିଭିନ୍ନ ଧର୍ମର ଲୋକ ଥିଲେ ବିଭିନ୍ନ ଜାତିର ଲୋକ ଥିଲେ ବିଭିନ୍ନ ଭାଷା କହିବାର ଲୋକ ଥିଲେ ଆମ ଭିତରେ ବିଭିନ୍ନ ପ୍ରକାର ବିବିଧତା ଥିଲା ବିଭିନ୍ନତା ଥିଲା ଖାଦ୍ୟ ଖାଇବାରେ ବିଭିନ୍ନତା କଥା କହିବାରେ ବିଭିନ୍ନତା ଆମ ଡାଇଲେକ୍ଟ ଉପରେ ଡିଫରେଣ୍ଟ ରହୁଥିଲା ଆମ ବାଲେଶ୍ୱର ଲୋକ ଭାଷା କହୁ କିନ୍ତୁ ଗଞ୍ଜାମ ଲୋକ ଭାଷା ଆମ ସହ ଡିଫରେଣ୍ଟ ହେଇପାରେ ହଉଛି ଆମ ସହ ବ୍ରହ୍ମପୁର ଲୋକ ଭାଷା ଅଲଗା ହଉଛି କିନ୍ତୁ ଆମେ ସେ ସମସ୍ତ ଭିତରେ ମଧ୍ୟ ଆମେ ସମସ୍ତ ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ଲାଟଫର୍ମ ଆଣିବା ପାଇଁ ଚେଷ୍ଟା କରୁଛୁ ଏବଂ ଜାତୀୟ ଆନ୍ଦୋଳନ ହେଇପାରିଲା ବିକଜ unity diversity is a concept accepted by the people of India and people of Odisha also. जहाँ इंडिया रही से मॉडल से मॉडल ओडिशा को आसी ओडिशा सेपरेट मॉडल किसी नथिला यूनिटी डाइवर्सिटी मॉडल बा इंटीग्रेशन मॉडल जोटा हमें देखिचु करिथिलु से मॉडल सारा भारत वर्ष थिला सब प्रदेश थिला सारा देश रे थिला हम जो आसी थिला मु खाली जस्ट ओडिशा कथा जे कहिबी कारण ओडिशा पर एम्फासिस करी कहया को कहउची जे ओडिशा को देखिबा आमे ओडिशा भितर देखिले किमिति देखिबा जे ओडिशा रे प्रथम आरंभ आंदोलन आरंभ होइछि ओडिशा आरंभ होइछि आमे स्वाधीन नथिलु 19th सेंचुरी रे ओडिया भाषा ओडिया साहित्य संस्कृति आसुनथले ता आगु तो आमे जानिछु गंगा वंश जो जगन्नाथ में तयारी करथिले से तेलुगु लोक थिले गंगा वंश ई स्वसंत बस यू कैन बेटर से माने ओडिया आमे जो कहूचे गजपति डायनेस्टी हमर पेपर ओडिया डायनेस्टी ता पूर्व जगन्नाथ में तयारी करछन से माने आम ओडिशा भितरे बौद्ध धर्म जैन धर्म ये अच्छी ओडिशा भितर शैविज्म शक्तिज्म वैष्णविज्म विष्णु से भी अच्छी ओडिशा अच्छी एवं ये सब चली ओडिशा भितर चली तो ता भितर जिते मैं आगू आगू आसुचु धीरे धीरे 18th सेंचुरी पर 19th सेंचुरी ओडिशा इंडिया ऑक्युपाई हो ब्रिटिश द्वारा ओडिशा को 1938 में ब्रिटिश दखल करूछंती ताउर गंजाम गोटे अंचल नहीं गले ओडिशा भितर लोक असंतोष आरंभ होउची आमे देखिबु जे प्रथम रेजिस्टेंस को माने करथिले 18 आमे जोई राजगुरु को देखुछु 1870 एकु देखुछु बक्सी जगन देखुछु किंतु ताकू छाडी के अपन देखंतु जो आदिवासी माने जो मानकू आमे भाबुतले माने शिक्षित नहंती सभ्यता पहुंची पारि नाही सेही माने आगे आंदोलन करछन आपण भाबंतु से रेंडो माझी निर्मला मुंडा आमको सिमको मूवमेंट बा आमे भाबू लखन नायक जो गांधी को देखी नहीं गांधी आह्वान ने से शहीद हो गला से मन जा जोग देछ दैट इज हाउ दे क्लेम टू दी एटा केवल नुहे आमे आउरी मते देखिबु आंदोलन बेले गरजात अंचल रे मध्य लोकमित्र प्रजामंडल आंदोलन तयारी होउची असंतोष रे बाहर जातीय आंदोलन होउची ये आंदोलन रे मिसी जाउची 1938 पर सुभाष बोस कांग्रेस सभापति थिले से कहले गरजात रे मध्य कांग्रेस ऑफिस खोलिबो एवं ता परे परे भारत वर्ष रे हम देखिलु ओडिसा रे देखिलु सेम सिनारियो जे कांग्रेस ब्रांच खुलना गरजात में खुलला गरजात लोक माने ऑफिशियली ओपनली कांग्रेस रे जोग देई स्वाधीनता आंदोलन जोग देई साने काम एवं एकु जो देखला बेले हम देखु इतर ओडिसा रे आरंभ होची फ्रीडम मूवमेंट आरंभ होची आमे मु देखा को चाहूची जातीय संहति रो ओडिसा रे किमिति प्रभाव होची बा ओडिसा कोन करिछि जेते ओडिसा रे कांग्रेस पार्टी नथिला जे ओडिसा रो लोक माने जातीय आंदोलन को जाउथिले बेंगल अंडर अधीन जाउथिले बालेश्वर कटक पुरी तीनटा जिल्ला थिला 1817 मसे तयारी हेतला एवं समान जाउथिले से जिल्ला तरफरु तादर को मन थिले बहुत लोक थिले जो माने को हम देखुछु जो मैडम आउट कहउथिले जे ओडिया लोक खाली ओडिया घरे जन्म हेबा लोक ओडिया नुहे ओडिसा को भल पाए ओडिया संस्कृति को भल पाए ओडिसा भल चाहे से ओडिया से भी हमें को सुभाष बोस आम लोक जन पचार आप ओडिसा क्या आप गर्व करती सुभाष बोस एपटे बीबी गिरी जो तेलुगु जड़े बंगाली किंतु ओडिशार संतान एवं ओडिशा को आकु नहीं से बार देखा से समय ओडिशारू अनेक बंगाली माने जाउतले कांग्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस जाउतले एवं आउरी इंपोर्टेंट होची क्रिश्चियन एंड मुस्लिम्स आर पार्टी टू द कांग्रेस सेशन फ्रॉम ओडिशा शमसन राउत ता नाम मिलुची ना मिलूची ओडिशा रे कोन जाउतले कांग्रेस कोन जाउतले तात्र मुस्लिम मेंबर माने मध्ये जाउतले अब्दुल करीम रे ना मिलूची 1886 जाउतले अब्दुल शोभन खान 1888 जाइतले मोहम्मद अख्तर 1828 जाइतले शामसन राउत अलाहाबाद सेशन जोग देइतले 1888 एवं आमे या पर देखिबु ये बन जाई हिंदू मुस्लिम बंगाली ओडिया तेलुगु गोपाल राव जन तेलुगु पी गोपाल राव ब्रह्मपुर जे 88 मसिया रे जॉइन करथिले जे कांग्रेस शासन 1888 मसिया रे मद्रास से जॉइन करथिले तो सबु अंचल लोक नेशनल इंटीग्रेशन रा मॉडल इंडिया रे ग्रहण करा होतला से मॉडल ओडिशा रे आसिला ओडिशा भितरे विभिन्न अंचल रु विभिन्न भाषा भाषी लोक माने जोग दउथिले एवं आपण एंटर फ्रीडम मूवमेंट देखले कांग्रेस पार्टी ओडिशा तयारी हला 1920 हला गोपबंधु दास प्रथम प्रेसिडेंट हेले ता वाइस प्रेसिडेंट हेले एकरम रसूल वाइस प्रेसिडेंट हेतिले जो सब्सिक्वेंटली किछ दिन पे कांग्रेस रो स्टेट प्रेसिडेंट मध्ये होइतिले एको छाड़ी के आमे देखु जे अनेक लोक चाकरी छाड़ी के आंदोलन जोग देइतिले ताते मुसलमान थिले हिंदू थिले तळका जो दलित वर्ग लोक थिले आदिवासी वर्ग लोक थिले एवं अन्य उच्च जातिर बा अन्य जातिर लोक माने ताते थिले एवं एको मु देखियो भाबे जे एटा हला कोन जे ओडिसा रो गुटे गर्व आमे मध्ये जा सारा भारत रे होतला जातीय महास्रोत रे जो आमे 75 वर्ष पालन करूछु जे भारत स्वाधीनतार से आंदोलन जोग देवा विभिन्न लोक जाऊले भर आम से स्वतरे एक मुख्य अंश थिलु आम तो जाति धर्म गोत्र भाषा बा रिजनालिज्म बा सब रिजनालिज्म काम करूनथला आम समस्त एक संगे जग दी जाऊ नॉट ओनली दैट या बाहर को आउर देखि पारे आउर देखियो गले आपण देखिए जोता आउटे बहुत मैडम भी कहते मु कहली गौरीशंकर राय प्रथम न्यूज़पेपर प्रति चले पिला मीडिया स्टोरी पिला अच्छा जानी गौरीशंकर उत्कल दीप छपैले 1866 मसीह से बंगाली थे से जड़े मात्र बंगाल नथिले आमे देखिबु जगमोहन लाला बाबाजी नाटक देखले सी भी बंगाली थे प्यारीमोहन आचार्य से ख्रिस्टियन थे मधु बाबू ख्रिस्टियन थे ओडिशा रा जो स्पीकर असेंबली 1846 मसीह से हरिकृष्ण महताब ओडिशा रा प्राइम मिनिस्टर हेले से स्पीकर थे लालमोहन पट्टनायक से ख्रिस्टियन लोक थे ख्रिस्टियन को कन्स्टिट्यूएंट जीतिक आसी कांग्रेस लोक मैंने यूनानिमसली कहले जो ओडिशा स्पीकर हूँ वेरी फेमस पर्सन ऑफ दैट पीरियड अनेक समय आम भीतर जो थाए से ता भितर माने आम काम कर बही लिखिं काम कर कंट्रीब्यूशन बहुत बेसी आम एभले देखा पड़ो जो देखा जीवु उत्कल सम्मेलन आरंभ है उत्कल सम्मेलन कौन पाए कविता प्रथम जो गीत गाई राधा ताई कविता सर्वे संग जननी भारत जननी इन उत्कल कन्फ्रेंस तापर आसला कौन जे वंदे उत्कल जननी लक्ष्मीकांत महात्मा कविता कांत कविता वंदे उत्कल जननी सी भी गायक तो भारत मातार आमे केबे हमर अपोज करिन आमे भारत माता और उत्कल माता दुईटी माता सांगरे नहीं आमे आंदोलन जाइछु ओडिया मूवमेंट रे करछ मधु बाबू जे उत्कल सम्मेलन को जन्म देले 1903 मसीह से मधु कांग्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस जाइछन कांग्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस जतला कांग्रेस रे कुआगला ऑल इंडिया इश्यू नहले डिस्कस करिवो नै सेतल छेरी ऑप्शन उत्कल सम्मेलन जन्म दउछ किन मधु तापर भी कांग्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस अटेंड करछन 1922 मसीह रे बांकीपुर शासन से रिसेप्शन कोन वाइस प्रेसिडेंट थिले एवं मधु बाबू ओडिसा रे भारत वर्ष मध्य जातीय आंदोलन पे गांधी तांको घर यही पहुंचते गांधी तांको घर को यही फैक्ट्री देखिले 1925 आसला बेले तो एपड़ देखा जदि देखा आम यदि पूरा इतिहास को देखा आम देखा जे जो जातीय संहति नेशनल इंटीग्रेशन जोटा आसला आमर यूनिटी डाइवर्सिटी कॉन्सेप्ट आम आणुचु एवं ता भितर ओडिशा को हम रखी देखुचु सारा भारत वर्ष में जेबले भाव में यूनिटी डाइवर्सिटी को आणिक आधार करी देश इंटीग्रेशन है देश आगू गला एवं इंडिपेंडेंस पर देश आगू को जाऊँगी से कहगला यूनिटी नहेले देशर फ्रीडम मूवमेंट हो पार ना देश स्वाधीन हो पार ना आज भी आम भावुचु नेशनल इंटीग्रेशन यदि स्ट्रेंथन न करी पारिबा आम विभिन्न डिविजन टेंडेंसी को रिजर्व न करी गोटे प्लाटफॉर्म आनी पारिबा तो देश आगू जाई पारिबा नाही आम वी हैव टू गो अहेड 21st सेंचुरी रे आम पहुंची सारे 75 वर्ष स्वतंत्र चलीगला तो बर्तमान इज हाई टाइम टू थिंक ऑफ हाउ टू टेक द कंट्री अहेड से दरकार पड़ुची जे आम समस्ते नेशनल इंटीग्रेशन जो मॉडल कहुची जो पॉलिटिकल पार्टी पावर को आसु आम समस्ते चेष्टा करवा हाउ टू टेक द कंट्री फॉरवर्ड by having this model of national integration by which the country can go forward. With these words, I thank Dr. Padi who gave the opportunity to come and speak here, and I got the opportunity to express my views, some of the lines. I know I were running behind time. With these words, thank all, and I think that the conference will be a great success, and the ideas will reach the students and the people sitting here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your very meaningful deliberation and few of the important points that you have cited for further taking it to further analysis. Thank you so much for educating us. May I now invite Professor Amal Kumar Misra, former professor of history, Utkal University, and since this is Utkal University, you might know him well. He served from field retirement to Utkal University. So I request Professor Amal Kumar Misra kindly to deliberate on the topic. Professor Misra, please.
Lord audience, dear students, media persons. I feel a great pleasure on my part to be a part of Utsav Odisha, celebrated in local university. Alma mater. Due to constraint of time, I have to be very watchful, and my topic now is role of Odisha in national integration. So straight away I come to the theme. The country, India, as we know, our land of origin, is often called and regarded as unity in diversity. Long before the nationhood came to India, it was certainly a country called Bharatvarsh or Bharata, to which a lot many cultural strands from its different corners contributed in immense measure as the tributaries contribute to the making of a large river, which in turn further moves on and ultimately joins the sea. Here the large river you may regard to be India, and the ocean the universe. This pan-Indian spirit, as well as the spirit of universalization, calling for Vasudeva Kutumbakam, we richly learn from the culture of Odisha as manifested in the cult of Jagannath, a great unifying force integrating all hues, colors, castes, creeds, communities within it. In fact, the cult of Jagannath, as you know, is a process of continuous assimilation where not only the Sanatanis, but also people coming from other sects, communities, and regions find great solace when they visualize that their own respective faiths and beliefs are also duly reflected in it. Hence, Adi Shankara declared Puri in Odisha as one of the famous four dhamas in the country and founded a mosque here called Govardhana Pitha in order to further expand the cause of unity and integration of the so many diverse cultural traits of India under the gigantic umbrella of Jagannath cult. Famous saints and seers like Ramanuja in 12th century, followed by Nimbarka Bhalvacharya Narahari in 13th century, Sri Jayadanya in 15th century et al. Had their long stint of stay here, preaching universal brotherhood and unity of human beings through their daily sermons. Even Nanak and Kabir had their respective visits to Puri in Odisha, which further helped the cause of Odisha's integration with the rest of India. As learned, the Gita Govinda of Kavi Jayadeva, belonging to 12th century, greatly impressed the composition of Guru Granth Sahib in the latter period. Himat Rai, regarded as one of the Panch Pyaras of Sikh tradition, also hailed from the land of Odisha. Out of 51 Shaktipitas in India in the beginning, which later grew to 108, Odisha could have three major shrines: Goddess Biraja in Jajpur, Goddess Bimala in Puri, and Goddess Taratarini in Ganjam. Odisha's role in national cultural integration grows further when we see its contribution to the growth of Buddhism as well as Jainism, as their respective religious texts narrate. Starting from Tapasu and Pallika, who became the earliest disciples of Lord Buddha soon after he attained Bodhi or supreme knowledge. After offering Arisa Pitha, the rice cake from Odisha, a special cuisine, here to the period of Dharmasoko, who patronized Buddhism as never before and made it a world-class religion by sending Mahendra and Sanghamitra, his son and daughter, to Sri Lanka. Buddhism gained a lot from Odisha. The sites of Ratnagiri, Chandragiri, and Udayagiri, presently called the Buddhist Golden Triangle in Odisha, could develop and add two more important streams, Badrajana and Sahajana, to the already existing Hinojana and Mahajana streams of Buddhism. The present Dalai Lama, during his visit to Odisha for several times in the past, has also referred to these sites as the great centers of training of Buddhism, frequently visited by Tibetan monks in the past, particularly in 7th and 8th centuries, where a voluminous Buddhist text called Gandabuyo was composed. The Jaina texts like Harivansa Purana and Harividraya Vritti also speak eloquently about Kalinga's contribution to the growth of Jainism in general and Lord Mahavira's visit to this part of India and making Khandagiri, called Kumara and Kumari Parvata, his abode for a considerable length of time in particular. The Jains believe and identify their Adi Guru, Rishabhnath, in Lord Jagannath, as the Buddhists believe and identify Lord Buddha in the form of Lord Jagannath. Further, in Odisha developed the worship of Satyapira, a common deity to Hindus and Muslims in 17th and 18th century, followed by several Piro Baba shrines found at Jahania, in Astaranga, Kaipadar near Khordha, Bhadrak, Jajpur, Baleswar, etc. In fact, they contribute even till the present day to the spirit of national ethos and integration. In the early 19th century, the Odia Pikes, gathering under the leadership of Jai Rajguru in 1805, 4 and 5 at Khordha, followed by Bakshi Jagabandhu in 1817-18, first of all gave a befitting rebuff and resistance to the British regime. So many resistance movements against the colonial rule were registered in the soil of Odisha under several top leaders like Chakra and Dora Bisoi in Ghumsar, Surendra Sai in Sambalpur, Rani Sukade in Banki, Dharanidhar Naik in Keonjhar, to take the names of a few who fought bravely to make their respective regions in India free from the fangs of colonialism, like the rest of the country. During the phase of freedom movement, the role of Odisha in national integration was further broadened by the nationalist leadership here, mainly led by Madhusudan and Gopabandhu. For Madhusudan, Mother Utkal was like the daughter of Mother India. While he worked tirelessly for unification of Odisha through Utkal Samilani, he also kept in view the freedom of the country at large. So also Pandit Gopabandhu, who for the training of the Odia youth on the lines of nationalism and ideas of national integration, founded the Vanavidyalaya at Satyavadi. It may be recalled that this was much before the opening of Santiniketan, the dream project of Rabindranath Tagore. When Gandhiji visited Odisha for the first time in March 1921, he was greatly impressed by all these and wrote that if a handful of youth like these were made available to him, then he would be able to bring freedom to the country in no time. Further, Gandhiji agreeing to Gopabandhu's proposal of formation of the future province of Odisha on the basis of one language, one province formula in the Calcutta session of Indian National Congress in 1919, a movement picked up in Odisha for its unification, and finally on 1st April 1936, she emerged as a separate province. And earned the rare distinction of becoming the first ever province made on the basis of one language principle Odia in the entire country. The example set by Odisha was followed by other regions of the country in due course of time, Telangana being the latest in the series. Even today, this process continues. Odisha's participation in the mainstream of the freedom struggle also is quite unique and contributed immensely to develop a nationalistic outlook, be it the non-cooperation movement or civil disobedience movement or Quit India movement. The people of Odisha have left their deep imprints on the pages of national history, particularly the salt satyagraha held at Inchudi, a seashore town in Balesore in 1930, could draw the attention of the top leadership of the country, who not only congratulated the people of Odisha for their grand success in defying the British law and police, but also wished that this would show the way to the rest of India. The participation of the women folk, led by Rama Devi, Malati Devi, Sara Devi, etc., in it was quite unique and inspiring in the whole country. As a result, Inchudi stood second in rank in India only after Dandi, where Gandhiji was himself present to lead the masses. In Paradip, another unique event was the participation of as many as 500 ladies in the salt manufacture at the seashore, led by Bhagyavati Patamadi, the queen of Kujangagoda. The declaration of Modi, present Kamakhanagar, as a republic, followed by so many others in Odisha, where the British police were driven out by the masses, including the British officials, was quite a trendsetter in the All India scale. The Ram massacre in Odisha, where so many innocent lives fell prey to police bullets, were lost, like the earlier Jallianwala Bagh tragedy in Punjab, was also a pointer to the fact of Odisha's integration mentally and physically with the rest of India. By far, one of the greatest contributions of Odisha to the National Forum was Subhash Chandra Bose, whose origin was here in Cuttack. Born, brought up, and educated in Cuttack, Subhash had great command over Odia language, and his fluent oratory in several meetings he held at different parts of Odisha drew so many Odia youths, both men and women, to Indian National Army. They contributed their might by joining various regiments of INA, including Rani Jhansi Regiment, and fought against the British soldiers during the Second World War. During the period of merger of princely states following independence in August 1947, when the question of integration of so many, about 567 or so, royal municipalities, kingdoms, and princely states for several issues and direct to the central government, Odisha also followed the way to the rest of India by integrating and merging the erstwhile Nilgiri state in Balesore on 14 November 1947 through a swift police action under the dynamic leadership of Hare Krishna Mahatab, the premier of Odisha, when the king became totally unwilling to join the Indian Union and employed his troops against it. As claimed in his volume Beginning of the End, Mahatab impressed upon Sardar Patel about the way to integrate the whole of India if such unwilling and recalcitrant kings did not join the Indian Union voluntarily. Such police actions were taken up later on in case of Hyderabad, Junagadh and Kashmir, keeping in view national integration and public interest. In the Kashmir sector, the participation of Biju Patnaik from Odisha as an ass pilot, taking the Indian troops there and airdropping them by a show of daredevillery in the face of steep opposition and firing maintained by Pakistani Mujahideens was no doubt a challenging task which saved not only Kashmir but also became a milestone in the path of national integration. Had there been no Biju Patnaik from Odisha there, then there was every possibility of losing Kashmir to the enemies. Soon after, the twin task of nation building and democratic governance became the major aims and objectives before the central government as well as the state governments. Odisha, under its premier H.K. Mahatab and successive chief ministers like Nava Chaudhary, Vijay Patnaik et al. Came forward not only to participate in all these national endeavors but also to actively play a major role in national integration all the time. Whenever a challenge or a threat came to it, be it the Sino-Indian War of 1962 or Indo-Pak Wars of 65, 71, and 99 Kargil War. Thus, for the people of Odisha, national integration stands supreme and non-negotiable by all means and at all times. Thank you very much for your patient listening. Uh, Thank you all.
Thank you so much for giving your viewpoint and the deliberations on this topic. The last princely state to join the government of India or Odisha province ended in 1st January 1949, and it was Mayurbhanj. Mayurbhanj joined the last 1st January 1949, and the last in the series is we had the name like Odisha. We are known through many names, and one of them is Odisha. We have Kalinga, Utkala, Udra, Kosala, Kongoda. One of them is Odisha, and Odisha was given by the Britishers. And the last liberation that we have, when we have renamed Odisha into Odisha. And how many of you know that in which year it was done? By virtue of which amendment? By virtue of 134th amendment, this we have renamed it from Odisha to Odisha in 2011, and Lok Sabha enacted and passed the bill, and it is 113th constitutional amendment done in 2011. So we are liberated from linguistic type of domination, and we have now Odia, and our name of the state is now Odisha, that we got finally liberated. Two things that mattered: Odia language as a united nationalism, Odia nationalism, and the second is that we have the language agitation gave rise to territorial agitation, and you have Kharsuan, the two Sadai Kala Kharsuan, still we could not merge it with Odisha. It is not with Odisha. Earlier they were with Odisha. Two, three things I will tell and I will finish it, and we will have felicitation celebration. You see, where do we stand? Odisha or Odisha now was suppressed, oppressed, didn't have identity of its own. It was a colony of Bengal, all that. And if you look at the history, it is not simple and straight. Some portions joined different presidency and all. So there was no demarcation, territorial demarcation. Some said Bengali language is the best. Where is the Odia language? And the Bengali became the, even if you look at Hindi in Sambalpur, and ultimately the Hindi was removed and Odia was inserted. But that process was too rigorous. They imposed the Hindi, and Hindi became the official language of Sambalpur, and Gangadhar Meher and all, they tried their level best, and they made Odia as the language of Sambalpur. That is what we say. What we are, we didn't have identity till we attained independence. And Britishers followed a policy of divide and rule. And India is the world in miniature. What is not in India is not in the world. So India represents the world in miniature form. So we are those, and we are the colonies. Out of decolonization, we attained political independence, and political independence did not give us type of political integration. It is still taking time. We talk so much, but the recent incident in Sambalpur, what has happened? There is a communal riot. Therefore, we are talking of integration, but there are still communal riots takes place. Amritpal in Punjab. What is Amritpal? He says that I am the inheritor of Bhindarwala and I want Khalistan. And the entire Punjab police for 32 days searching this fellow, not locating his fellow. Some said he surrendered. Some said, "Nine, we have, captured him." But the reality is, the old Punjab lady said, "Sir, no police has come here. He himself has surrendered." We live in a situation where different types or different, we celebrate diversity. But what is the common thread that connects diversity? Is there any common thread that connects the diversity? What is that common thread of Indianness? What brings national integration? We say psychologically, emotionally, politically, economically, socially, what are we that we may put? But the reality is that we didn't have a national consolidation, and a national consolidation took place, and still it is going on. There are some areas which we call unadministered areas. Dantewada, Dantewad, that is in Chhattisgarh. What has happened? Even in a day of war with other country, so many soldiers have not been died. In one, I think 2010, 77, these CRPF people are killed by the Maoists. That called left-wing Maoism. That is a huge chunk where administration does not reach there. Once Chidambaram said, you bring those areas under your administration. Many areas are still left being unadministered areas. We live in these situations, and violence, killing, everything goes on. Communal riots takes place, dacoits, they are becoming Bahubali, and what not is happening in India. And we live in this country, and we live the experience here in this country. Still, we are not hopeless. We are hoping for the best. There are two models. One, we talk being a post-colonial society. What we have inherited, is a fragmented social structure, a fragmented, a very weak economy, a ramshackle economy, a very unstable political system, and everywhere there are agitations, movement, secessions. If a right to secede is given in Indian constitution, I think many units will say that we want independence, like Union of Soviet Socialistic Republics. They got separated because the constitution guaranteed them a right to secede. If that is given to us, many states will go away from India. And there are many like best example is Khalistan. Therefore, we are trying to forge unity. And what gives us unity is our political system, our economic interdependence within, that will bring integration. We have our own recognition, special identity we want to maintain. At the same time, we have to merge with the mainstream. There are two. One is salad bowl theory. Salad bowl theory, you put cucumber, different items, prepare a salad. But each item has its identity. But still it gives rise to a food called salad. So we live in a country and we have chosen deliberately democracy to operate in our country. And the democracy is like an umbrella which can house all the heterogeneous elements into it. And very often that umbrella leaks. That umbrella leaks, and very often in India, umbrella also leaks. There are many issues, and that time will not permit. Therefore, may I now thank immensely to our project chairperson, Dr. Nivedita Mohanty ma'am, that out of her research, things that she said worthy to mention and worthy to keep in mind. And there will be occasions where she will be free to deliberate and take time and explain to the students. Thank you, ma'am, for your kind deliberation and very relevant issues that you have raised. Professor Ashok Kumar Patnaik is a ceaseless speaker and many things in his mind, and when he expresses his views, there is no time limit. Thank you, sir, because we are happy and we will continue to be happy to hear you. Thank you so much, sir. Professor Amal Kumar Mishra, he is a very nice writer, because those who have read his writings, it's very nice. And as I mentioned, that you can go through that article. It is very exhaustive and very nice, systematically written. Thank you so much, because you didn't have much time to explain. and whatever points that you have raised is very good and very relevant. And you require special time, special session to talk on that. Thank you so much, sir, for your deliberation. It will be inconclusive if Professor Upendra Padhi, the director IMS, would have been not here, because it is he who is the connecting bond. And despite willingness, unwillingness, all he has suffered, he has pocketed disgrace, that in grace, type of frustration in grace. You are a debt because of your patience and tolerance. We must acknowledge this, and it is he who could do it. Even he was saying, "Sir, you didn't contribute to an article." He does not know that I was also simultaneously writing an article to contribute to a journal. So I didn't have two minds to write here and there. So I said, "Sir, I require time to write." I assure you, whenever you go for further publications, I'll give a best one that you can publish. I now request Professor Padhi sir kindly to do felicitation of the guest. I thank all the audience, much more intelligible and intellectuals than me, knowledgeable than me, my dear students, and those who know many things, but they need occasion to express their views. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And now there will be felicitation, and Professor Padhi will felicitate the honored guests. Thank you so much. Professor Padhi, please. Professor Padhi, please.
Now, the first plenary session of the Utsav Odisha is going to be closed here. And now I request all the guests on the dais, invited guests of the dais, and faculty members to go to the fourth floor of the administrative building and join with in the launch. And the rest of the delegates and participants are requested to go to the basement of the administrative building for the lunch. And sharp at 3 o'clock, as you have issued the circular, we'll start the second plenary session. So now I request all, have your lunch, enjoy the lunch, and join with us again in the second plenary session right at 3 o'clock. Thank you.